is the auditor's observation. We wish to state that the contract was funded under the 2021 CDF, which then was based on odd guidelines. Based on the odd guidelines, the community had committed to 25% of the total expenditure by providing aggregates needed for the works, such as crushed stones, river, and building sand. As such, the allocated amount for the project excluded these key materials. During the implementation, it was observed that the community was very slow in fulfilling its commitments. In some instances, they would provide the aggregates which would not conform to the required quality, and the quantity provided was always inadequate. This was consequently affected the pace at which the works are being executed, hence the delay in the completion of the project. The action that we've taken, Chair, having determined that the community's capacity to fully provide the required materials is not assured, the CDF committee has set aside 5,000 under the 2024 allocations specifically for procurement of the such needed local materials. I think Appendix 1, we have shown that under Appendix 1. Then the remedial measures, in future the Council through the CDF committee shall ensure that all projects are fully funded to avoid burdening the community beneficiaries with costs which may be beyond their capacity. Then failure to connect, that is the power, electrification of Malombe Primary School from 2021 funds again. So cause of the query, management acknowledges the auditor's observations. We wish to state that the contractor was engaged to do the electrical installation, while ZESCO was engaged to do the power connections. The contractor fulfilled this contractual part and had completed the works by 16th January 2023. The installation works were then tested using a generator and worked properly. On 25th April 2023, the Council then paid the reticulation and connection fees amounting to 91,235.84 directly to ZESCO Limited. Since the location has no power grid within its proximity, the scope of the works for ZESCO included fixing poles, service lines, and a transformer. However, to date, power has not yet been taken, and the delay is on the part of ZESCO. Action that we have taken, Chair, the Council has made several follow-ups with the ZESCO district office and region office to ensure that power is connected to the affected areas. In response to these follow-ups, ZESCO has indicated that the works involved in scope are no longer done in-house. The office explained that such works have to be packaged and given out to contractors who do the works on behalf of ZESCO. Once the works are done, then ZESCO finally does connection. See Appendix 2. Then the major measures. In future, the Council will ensure that ZESCO is engaged at different hierarchy levels to expedite connection works. Further, where the scope of works for ZESCO entail putting up of poles, power lines, transformers, etc., Council would, with the guidance of ZESCO, ensure that such works are contracted out to the contractor doing the electrical installation works. Query number 3, youth, women, and community empowerment. This query, Chair, is to do with the money that was transferred to questionable beneficiaries. So, cause of the query, Chair, management acknowledges the auditor's observation and would like to state that at the time of payment to the 8 groups of the the bank, being National Savings and Credit Bank, was not active on the RTGS stream. Hence, a DDAC file amounting to 240,000 was prepared and sent to the Zambia National Commercial Bank to process the transfer to the various groups on the list as per attached list, and email sent to the bank on October 13, 2023. The action that we have taken, we have written to NatSafe to request for the proof of transfer of funds to the groups listed on the attached DDAC schedule. The proof of payments for each cooperative have since been obtained and attached here to as Appendix 3, Chair. Remedial measures, the Council will continue to engage the bank to continuous updating of information as well as providing proof of payment of transaction on DDAC. Then procurement of non-functional oil expeller. Cause of query, management acknowledges the auditor's observation and would like to state that the Council had facilitated the payment of the Women Club according to the application and approval. During the audit follow-up, it was established that the cooking oil expeller machine was functional and it was a matter of the Women's Club not knowing how to operate it. Action taken. Since the operational manual was written in Chinese, the supplier was engaged by council management to do an orientation training on how to operate the equipment in question, and the same was done, and the members of the group now know how to operate the machinery. The remedial measures, the council visited and advised the Women's Club in future to consider buying equipment from reputable suppliers who would train them on how to operate and maintain the machinery. The procurement of non-functional hammer mill. Cause of a query. Management acknowledges the auditor's observation and would like to state that the council had facilitated the payment of Chikwata Development Club according to the application and approval. The cooperative procured a functional hammer mill, and when the stand and fan belts got damaged during the transportation to site, the cooperative delayed to repair them. Action taken. The council visited the cooperative and advised them to buy new fan belts and repair the stand. The stand and fan belts have since been repaired and the hammer mill is working. Chair. Remedial measures. The council advised the cooperative to maintain the hammer mill regularly and replace any broken parts immediately they get damage. This has also been extended to all the grant beneficiaries through community sensitizations. Chair. Thank you. Then failure to rear pigs, Kasosola Women's Club. Cause of a query. Chair. Management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to mention that the delay in the buying of the seed stock pigs was because the beneficiary group was still constructing the piggery meant to house the pigs. The construction of the piggery was the first activity to be undertaken before the actual pigs could be bought. The council had written to the cooperative to expedite on the implementation of the project, and during a recent visit by the monitoring team, it was established that the club had now completed construction of the piggery and 4 gilts and 9 piglets on site. Please see the still pictures below. Remedial measures. Chair. The council will be undertaking frequent monitoring and random spot checks on all grant recipients to flag beneficiaries that are delaying in implementation. Further, the WDCs have been engaged to carry out monitoring on the beneficiaries in their respective wards to quickly flag any late implementation or change of project by the beneficiaries. Next query, Chair, is over payments on youth, women, and community empowerment grants. We have 2 overpayments. That was on Mukumba Women's Club, who had applied for 30,000 and they were given a 40,000, and Chikwata Development Club, who had applied for 35,000 and they were given 40,000. Cause of the query. Management acknowledges the auditor's observations and would like to state that indeed Mukumba Women's Club and Chikwata Development Club applied for 30,000 and 35,000 kwacha respectively. However, based on the resolution of the Constituency Development Fund Committee, it was resolved that the group be awarded 40,000 based on the prevailing market prices of the oil expeller and hammer mill, and that at the time, as a result of the time lag between the date of receiving the applications. Applications were received in April 2022, and the date of approval by the Constituency Development CDFC, which was in August 2022. So action taken. Council has engaged the Ministry of Local Government through the Provincial Local Government Provincial Local Government Office to expedite on the approval of CDF projects in light of the unforeseen turbulences in the foreign exchange rates against our kwacha. To this effect, this has yielded positive results since the office of they are doing this very quickly now. Any applications that we take them are quickly approved. Chair. Remedial measures. The council will ensure that all project applications are made in good time through the WDCs and CDFC seats in time, and the same are sent to the PLGO's office in good time to avoid serious time lags that end up affecting the cost of projects negatively due to changes in the exchange rates caused by such time lags. Then on cross-cutting audit findings on budget performance, I think the query, Chair, that we had here was at the time they did an audit, there was out of the 25.7 million that we had, the auditors found that we had only spent 4,183,000. Leaving unspent amount of 21,937,000. Chair, on action taken there, we've given a breakdown of how since that money has since been spent. 11.992 500 was spent. The CVD had resolved to purchase earth-moving equipment. Other projects, the purchase of desks, electrification of Munano Primary School, and these have been done, and this we have shown on Appendix 5. Then empowerment loans, there was an amount of 2.9 in the 21 million, which was unspent, but as I'm speaking now, 2.6 was spent and leaving only 270. Empowerment grants 248, the whole 248,000 has been spent. Secondary school skills bursaries, we had 3.16, the whole 3.16 has since been spent, Chair. Administrative costs, we had 811 as we are speaking. At the time of our submission, 785 has been spent, only leaving only 26,000 kwacha, Chair. Then on the balance brought forward from the previous year's CDF, we had a 2.3, of which 2,063,000 has since been spent, leaving 318,000. And we are saying the balance arose from the 2021-2020 funding balance. The 2021 projects were implemented in 2022 due to delayed funding and approvals, as well as retention, and the others are retention amounts that are sitting in there. Remedial measures, Chair. In future, the Council will ensure that procurement processes are expedited for quick delivery of service. Further, Council will ensure that projects for the following year's funding are submitted for approval together with the Council and CDF estimates of revenue and expenditure for the following year to the Minister for Local Government and Rural Development. Failure to spend, again, the query was out of the 11,900 for community projects, only 1,073,000 was spent. As we are saying, Chair, leaving a variance of 10,864,588. So action taken, this has already been spent. So how we have spent this money, we are saying purchase of a bulldozer was procured at 4.7, purchase of a compactor at 1.5, purchase of motor grader at 4.296, purchase of a water bowser at 1.422, completion of Kaput Health Post at 284,760, electrification of Monano Primary at 130.80, then also construction of Chipandaike, which was given 344,610. So that's how these monies have been spent. The amount that has been queried that has failure to spend. Remedial measures in future, the Council will ensure that procurement processes are expedited for quick delivery of service. Then failure to disburse soft loans. At the time of the audit, we were queried there was 628,233, which had not been spent. As I'm speaking, Chair, at the time we were submitting 392,100 was spent, leaving only 236,133 kwacha. So, Chair, we're saying from the total amount queried amount of 628,233, a total of 392,100 has been disbursed, leaving a balance of 236,133, which has since been considered together with 2023 loan components. See Appendix 7. Remedial measures to strengthen the capacity of ward development committees and continuous engagement of the community on the benefits of the loans as well as other CDF components. Thank you, Chair. I submit.
Thank you very much. Honorable Mwene, Honorable Mwanza, and then Honorable Nyambosa.
Thank you so much, Chair. Chair, I would like to take the CS to page 7, Chair.
On page 7,
yes,
of the report.
On youth and the community empowerment. No, page 8, Chair, page 8. Cross-cutting issues. Chair, you can look at this council chair in Chisamba on the budget performance, Chair, the council was not able to spend 21,937,831 by the time of audit. Maybe the first question would be, when was Chisamba audited? And then secondly, why did you have to keep this money, all these huge sums of money that are needed to work for the people, without working until you were audited? That was when your ears were pulled up to now spend this money where it was supposed to. I submit, Chair.
Honorable Mwene, please withdraw the ears pulled. That's when you...
That is when they realized,
Yes.
that's when the council was realized, that's when the council realized that it is supposed to spend the money, Chair.
Secretary.
I submit.
Thank you, Chair. That's a very good question. Chair, we didn't wait for the auditors to come and not until the auditors
Don't use that word used. Please run away from the temptation of the word used. You didn't wait for the auditors to pull your ears. Don't use that word.
Thank you, Chair. So, Chair, what really transpired is that by the time the auditors came, we had already started the procurement process. It's only that we had not yet concluded with the procurement process, because the auditors came in February 2023. Then we had already, when you look at the contracts, we have the contracts that have been attached. By the time the auditors were coming, the contracts were already, we had already started with the contracts, but we could not spend until they had gone through to the Office of Attorney General, Chair. Thank you.
So where is the attachment that proves that you had done that? Do you have the appendixes?
Chair, we have the appendixes of the contracts that we had signed with the Ballowworld.
It's number what?
Appendix number 6.
Number 6. You got all these equipments from one contract? Just borrowed?
Chair, there is also one, the other one was gotten from automotive equipment, the water bows.
Oh, I see, okay. Okay, next question, Honorable Mwene, is the follow-up?
Yes, a follow-up, Chair. Chair, this 21.9 million, Chair, is divided into different percentages according to the CDF guidelines. Some of this money is for community projects, others were for empowerments, loan empowerments, others were for grants, and so on. Chair, the sum of these things are giving us the part of the 21 million. And all this money, Chair, by the time of audit was not yet dispersed. So may the CSA clarify that all these were waiting for the contracts to procure the equipment he's talking about, or even these other projects were as well not implemented by the time of audit. I submit, Chair.
Yes, Honorable Commando.
Yeah, on the same amount that was unspent, I wanted to find out also how much interest did they accrue at the time you were waiting to spend? How much interest was accrued?
Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. The other delay, Chair, on the empowerment loans and grant, on the empowerment loans, Chair, is to do with the bank. I think it's the procedures that are a bit lengthy. We are still waiting for the bank to go through the applications and get back to us now as a council. That's what could have also prompted the delay on the spending. Then on the interest accrued, would be maybe treasurer can assist
Treasurer?
me.
Maybe just to elaborate further, there are two components which I would like to find out. On the revolving fund and on the capital projects, maybe how much interest was earned on both accounts?
Treasurer?
Thank you, Chair. On the main account, the account does not earn interest. So as at 31st December 2023, we did not earn any interest. Then on the loan revolving account, as at 31st December, we had earned 190,000 interest.
Okay, thank you. Honorable Mwene, let's wind up on that.
Yes, Chair. Chair is not explaining to satisfaction. I gave an illustration of empowerment loans. How about grants? Even if them at that particular time, Chair, we are not yet dispersed. Secondary skills bursaries, Chair, at that particular time were as well not yet dispersed. What transpired that the council had to sit and wait until the time of audit that they could implement these CDF funds. I submit, Chair.
Council Secretary, without helping you, you said there is a clearance process, but respond. He wants to hear on those other components, like the grants, the loans. Was it the same thing?
Thank you, Chair. With your indulgence, I may seek the DPO to give more, further information on this.
DPO?
Thank you, Chair. For empowerment loans, I think my council secretary has explained it's the lengthy process, because after the CDFC receives the applications are sent to the bank to scrutinize, and then after the bank scrutinizes.
Maybe before, to cut you short on those which members are well aware of, which office do you think delayed in that process? Where was the delayment? The financial institutions or the Attorney General?
Chair, it's the financial institution for the loans.
Okay. Honorable Mutero. Which others?
Chair, the secondary skills bursaries and the empowerment grants. Why even those other components delayed to be disbursed?
DPO?
Chair, for the empowerment grants, we only had, I think, 4 that had issues. Those are the ones that were supposed to be given those funds. And I think the bank was engaged to reevaluate, and 2 of those went through. Those are the ones that were given, and those that did not go through, those are the ones we've mentioned that they have been considered together with the other group we've forwarded to the bank. And then for the secondary school bursary, we had written to all those schools where we sent our learners so that they give us the verification reports of the students who have reported. And we also wanted to make sure we go and confirm that the students we are going to pay, indeed they are in those schools. That's what delayed.
So, like the 2 clubs, 4, you said 4 had issues, 4 clubs, and then eventually 2 were cleared. Would you highlight the issues that were on those 4 applicants? What were the major setbacks on them? Why were they not cleared by the banks?
I think maybe treasurer will help me, but what I remember is that 2 or 3 of those, they had issues with their bank account. Yes. So we couldn't go ahead and disburse the funds because the accounts were not, I think they were not valid accounts. So the bank had to be engaged, and then they gave us the response of which 2 went through, and the funds were sent to those accounts. But these other ones, they were not successful.
Okay, Honorable Mutelo. Still the same?
On the same, though, going back to the treasure. But
Do you
before,
introduce yourself? Please kindly do that.
Mutelo Mishek, MP for Mitete. So 2 were cleared. Then the other 2 were not cleared. Later on, were they cleared?
No, Chair, they were not cleared. So what we did now, we just re-advertised for other beneficiaries to have a chance. So it's not those 2 that has been sent back, but others who applied for these empowerment
So
loans.
what happened to those, the first 2? There were 4, 2
So what-
cleared, the 2, you disadvantaged the other 2?
Through the Chair, it's not the local authority that disadvantages or clears that these should be given empowerment loans, but the authority lies with the financial institutions who
Chair, through you. Council Secretary, tell me, is it the financial institutions to tell you as to which clubs to fund, or you as council to instruct the financial institutions?
Thank you, Chair.
Council Secretary?
Chair, authority lies with us as a council.
Yes.
The local authority, I mean, the financial institution can only recommend.
Exactly.
And it's based on that recommendation, it's either for us to agree or
To disagree.
or to disagree.
So what did you do with the last 2? You instructed the financial institution to handle how many clubs? 4. They cleared 2. What happened to the other 2? What further instructions did you give?
Switch off your mic, Honorable Mutelo.
Chair, we still try to engage the other 2 that remain, but this has not been to it has not been to avail. No wonder the DPO chair mentioned to say that we have since re-advertised those for others to benefit from the same monies.
The Chair, through you. No wonder I'm still asking. So what happened to the, you disadvantaged the first 2? Yes or no?
Switch off your mic, Director. Who is
Who is responding?
Thank you, Chair. Like Council Secretary has mentioned, yes, we had given an instruction to the bank so that the bank can also scrutinize and tell us that they are okay with the instruction we've given them.
So what did they tell you?
So they told us that for these 2, yes, we are okay, and these 2, we are not okay.
What did you do with those which were not okay? Because the mandate lies with you.
Yes, so what we did is that we engaged them to work on the issues that were raised by the bank, of which they failed to produce.
Honorable, switch off your mic.
Chair, the last one.
No,
Treasurer, you said on the revolving account that you earned an interest, but on the main account you never earned any interest. Why? Treasurer?
Thank you, Chair.
Switch
I
off your
think
mic.
the main account was opened in such a way, it's been like that for years, it does not earn interest. But the loan revolving account does earn interest. So I think we just need an engagement with Zanaco so that it can start earning interest as well.
Chair, thank you so much. Here is money not being utilized with a financial institution and you do not have interest on such monies. These other local authorities, they will have interest on both the main and the revolving account. What's wrong with Chisamba? Treasurer? What's wrong? CS, you don't want to be earning money?
Mike.
Thank you, Chair.
He wants
Chair,
to respond.
Yes, the last one.
He wants to respond. Is it the same question? Is it
on the same.
On the interest.
On the interest. Let him first respond.
Oh, Chair, thank you, Chair. Chair, the practice, I think, has been to operate, that's a current account. The main account is a current account. You've been operating a current account. But we have noted what the Honorable Member of Parliament has put across. In future, we'll definitely open an interest earning main account as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Chair. CS, I would like to take you on serial number 5, administrative cost.
Page 1.
The same page, page 8, Chair. Administrative cost. Out of 811,000, you have managed to spend 785,859. Now, Chair, administrative cost is mainly used for monitoring of CDF projects and so on. But when you look at this council, Chair, most of the money went towards the procurement of earth-moving equipment, of which these, Chair, can not cost, looking into matters for earth-moving equipment, you can hold 1 or 2 meetings and maybe the other costs maybe for going to check on the earth-moving equipment themselves. This, Chair, cost cannot give us 785,000 kwacha. This money, Chair, can be a cost that can equate to a council going to monitor various CDF projects in different areas. Chair, I would just like the CS to elaborate how this 785,000 administrative cost was able to be spent on these fewer projects, especially the procurement of earth-moving equipment, as well as these other meetings they held. I submit, Chair.
Is it on the same one, Banyambos? Yes, please.
I want to thank you most sincerely for giving me this opportunity, Chair, to ask a follow-up question.
Please go ahead.
My follow-up question, Chair, goes to the DPO. Honorable Mishek Mtetwa Mtelo asked a question. These two were deprived, and the person responsible for clubs and cooperatives is the DPO. Chair, I was quite wondering why he was passing his back and telling the treasurer to respond. This question, Chair, has not been answered. Those concerns which were raised by the bank, the people of Chisamba would like to know. What were the issues the bank that raised that deprived them, that disqualified them from participation to the grants? Where is it laws? Now they have brought other people without elaborating, and the DPO is the right person who can tell this nation, this committee, and the people of Chisamba what were those issues. You are the person who engages, not the treasurer. I submit, Chair.
DPO, this is a very simple question to answer where I'm seated here. Very simple. You are on the other side, you had no time. You couldn't wait. That was the first thing. That's why we engaged others. And you had the money there which you wanted to use. You wanted to make sure that that money is used during that financial year. So you couldn't wait for those that were told to make amends, and they couldn't meet those amends. So instead, because it was going to be an audit query to keep the money in that account, you engaged others. So the simple question that has followed now, what were the issues? Just give you the issues of those. To say, I opted to go this side because there are these issues, and I couldn't keep that money because on that financial year, I was supposed to have used that money. Maybe with that leakage. Tell us what really are the issues.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, the main issue was to do with the accounts, of which the groups, they were engaged to provide valid accounts, of which they failed. And this is what we've been explaining to other groups.
Did you call them? Was that the only issue? And then did you call them, you as DPO, to say, no, all we need is an account? Was it a problem of finding people to sign for those accounts, for them to open an account? That was because if there are people and you called them and they are willing to open their accounts, it was not going to take time. Honorable Simumba.
Chair, thank you very much for this opportunity. Chair, I'm seated here and listening from the DPO stating that those people, the issue were accounts, is something that this committee can't take. Chair, you can recall that the purpose of these people applying for loan, you passed, you approved, and the people who are supposed to open an account, Chair, are the same people. So I would want to know if maybe the people who are supposed to open an account were coming outside Zambia. And if not, maybe they're not Zambians. We need to know, because the issue of saying it was an account, we cannot take that reason, Chair. Maybe the DPO should just state that he disadvantaged these clubs for his own reason.
Okay.
Chair, just to augment, when you go to the institution, they will ask you to open the account. The club or individual is asked to open the account. And if someone wants to get a loan, why do they want to get a loan? To get it on their hands. So the response given by the DPO cannot hold. And this is what you are attracting a lot of questions, because we are now wondering. The reasons are not the issue of the accounts. It's other reasons. And those other reasons are the ones that the people of Chisamba would like to know. If you were unfair to them, you just wanted to get rid of them by depriving them that opportunity, we would like to know. I submit, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Mutero.
Chair, thank you so much. CS, help the DPO. Just to clarify matters. DPO, you still wanted to answer?
Maybe Chair, before my boss comes in. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead, DPO.
Yes, Chair. I think the reason why I was referring to the accounts is that maybe we didn't verify in the first place with the bank. I have to apologize for that, because the account the groups had submitted were in individual names. And then when they were re-engaged, they couldn't provide accounts for the groups. That is where the challenge was, of which up to date they have failed.
So you know, I spoke of, anyway, I think we are going around. I spoke of those people that, because an institution, I mean, a group or cooperative account, we need people, we need signatories. So apparently maybe our people, those ones, they are still looking for people, because others, they just refuse to say, no, me, I don't want to be a signatory, but they are in the same group. So around that, Honorable
It was.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson.
Is it on the same?
Yes,
Okay.
it's on the same.
This one
I
is
just wanted to
on the-
find out actually from CS, the reason why these funds were allocated to Zambia was just to give out this basic to the beneficiaries so that they start using it. You earlier on I asked over the interest which was earned, and I was told yes, there was an interest which was earned about 190, and there was still this query of a balance of about 236. So when you add the two, it will still come to almost 400. I stand to be corrected, about 400. When we were approving actually the beneficiaries, which you recommended to the bank, didn't you have leftovers, those who could have remained? If you had them, why didn't you still go ahead and actually give out these monies, other than keeping them to be considered in the following year, because they were meant for 2022? Thank you.
Honorable Mateo.
Thank you so much, Chair. As we are coming to the conclusion of this, the more you open your mouth, DPO, the more you are not still satisfying your committee. Now you've told us because the owners of these clubs submitted individual accounts. A club can have to more than 10, a minimum of 10. Are you telling us each one of those were submitting their individual accounts? It could not be like that. A club will open a club's account. And that is squarely on the DPO's mandate to advise. To advise. Did you advise them to go and open a club's account where the chair is now saying there must have CSA, how many signatories? 4. To the minimum of 2. The 2 will be able to sign out of the 4. How could they all submit their individual accounts? How? CS, what is the right answer?
Chair, I think we apologize for that one. We did do a good job over these two groups. With the funds available for 2024, since we still have funds that are still unallocated, we'll still revisit the two clubs so that we do not disadvantage them. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, Chair. I appreciate.
Which one?
He didn't answer. He hasn't yet answered the Chair.
Where?
The question I asked: what kind of projects were monitored that could cost 785,000 of administrative cost? When you go on Appendix 5, Chair, you see and confirm that they just bought earth moving equipment. But the money that was spent, Chair, on administrative cost is far much beyond the allocation that can be spent on sitting to budget for earth moving equipment and maybe traveling to Lusaka to do due diligence.
Maybe what we need to hear from the council, Zambia Town Council, is where these monies that you were using, the funds that you spent, were they spent on having meetings for these equipment, or you actually paid for the equipment out of that component?
Chair, thank you very much. Most of the funds that we are seeing the expenditure on the administrative cost, this administrative cost, what has been spent now, this now is as at the point or at the time where we are making this report, making our submission. So it includes even, part of it has even been spent into the 2023 on the monitoring of roads and also meetings. We've also bought equipment like industrial printer, computers, a projector, and a number of equipment. Thank you, Chair.
I think the way is the way the report is coming out. Yes.
Any evidence to the fact that they used this money to procure that equipment, Chair? We shall appreciate evidence.
Thank you. You have the documentary evidence there?
Chair, we don't have evidence as of now, but we can submit it later. Thank you.
Because the way this report is coming out, that's why it raises a lot of questions. You know? Yes, Honorable Mwanza.
Thank you, Chair. Well, mine is a different question together. I refer the committee to page 3. Failure to connect power at Malombe Primary School. This Malombe Primary School, a contract was signed between Demu General Dealers for electrification of Malombe Primary School at a contract price of 112,913 with a completion period of 10 weeks. Then down the line, the contractor completed the wiring. His part was just to do wiring, and then council was to deal with the ZESCO for electricity reticulation and the connection. My questions are, the contractor engaged to do the wiring, his contract sum at 112,913 only to do wiring to a 1x2 classroom block, wiring only. This amount that he signed for apparently is above what council budgeted for. Council budgeted for 100,000 for wiring, and the contractor signed contract for 12,000 kwacha above the budget price. Where are the minutes of negotiations for the contractor to negotiate above your contract, above your budgeted price? 1. 2, this wiring, we all know wiring is just tubings and just some cables, and for actually for a 1x2 classroom block, you have less than 10 sockets. So the cost justification that it had to increase above the budget price. What is the basis for this increase? The second one is contractor, he completed the wiring exercise. And on 18th of April, council paid to ZESCO 91,235,000 kwacha for electricity reticulation and the connection. Up to date, ZESCO has not done their work. And the connection fee is even less, because you paid 91,000. The connection fee is even less than the wiring cost. The wiring cost that the contractor, demo contractor was engaged. Because of course the connection fees and the electrification, the reticulation is more expensive, because it would involve transformers, way leave and that stuff. But then how come the contractor got that such a high price? Then just 6 months later, the council engaged ZESCO and paid a sum of 136,632 kwacha for electrification of another school called Munano. What motivated ZESCO? What motivated management to make a second payment to ZESCO, when in fact the first payment to another school in another ward, they did not supply the services. You paid upfront 100%, 136,632 kwacha. I don't know the scope of work that it is even higher than the price that you paid at Mulombe Primary School. Maybe we can seek guidance on that.
Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. What motivated Council to pay ZESCO even when they had still not connected power to Balombe, then we still went ahead to pay for Munano? Chair, it was another approved project that needed electrification, and the quotation was sought from ZESCO, and we went on to pay. Basing that ZESCO is a state enterprise, we still feel that the funds are safe with ZESCO. There may be a delay. They've got their own challenges, Chair, at ZESCO. Just recently, about 2 weeks ago, ZESCO, we had an opportunity to meet with the managing director of ZESCO and the director distribution on the sidelines we had a groundbreaking ceremony for the 100 megawatt project in Chisamba for solar. So I met the ZESCO managing director and the director distribution over these delayed projects. So I expressed this concern, then we told them that we had written several writings to the regional manager in Kabwe and the branch manager in Chisamba, but still he said put it in writing direct to the director distribution, and we have since done that, and I've got the letter that we have now to ZESCO. But the challenge that they have as ZESCO, they've got it starts even from pause. They are overwhelmed. It's not only Munano. When you go to we're saying they've got a lot of projects that they still have to look at in connections. So, and they've got a shortage of POS. They're saying they don't have POS as at now, and the POS are coming from Zimbabwe. Apparently that was what we had discussed, I think, on the sidelines of that meeting. But they assured us, Chair, that very soon they're going to look into these two projects, since they have really taken a long time to connect. Thank you. I submit. Then the other question on the pricing of the contract to Demo General Dealers, maybe I may seek, with your indulgence, I may seek the Director of Works to come in. Thank you.
Director.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chair. So, the allocated amount, maybe just for the sake of the committee, the allocated amount was 112,913. And the 100,000 should have been the contract amount. So what it is initially this contract amount had included the ZESCO connection fee. I think it was just a provisional sum of 10,000. So when we obtained the quotation from ZESCO, we realized that it was way higher than the provisional sum. So we had to knock that off, and then it was presented to the CDF committee, who had topped up, I think, for us to pay to ZESCO. So in terms of the pricing, of course, the works involved wiring, installation of security lights, installation of the feeder pillar, installation of the sockets, and other things, which amounted to that 100,000. And if you look at what was paid to the contractor, it amounted to 91,234. So in terms of the pricing, I think the pricing was very fair, Chair. I submit.
Honorable Kamondo, Honorable Mtelo, Honorable Shakafuso.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. We seem to have a problem with ZESCO. However, ZESCO, they are not here to defend themselves. You have actually shown us the communication that was made between the council and the ZESCO. But unfortunately, we don't have any correspondence from ZESCO to yourselves to give an assurance actually when they are going to finish this project, and you go ahead and pay them some more money so that the burden now becomes too big. Do you have any communication from ZESCO assuring you when and how they are going to finish this job? And further, Honorable Chairperson, the action taken by management, by Zambia Council, doesn't give me any comfort, and that is the reason why I'm asking for that communication from the... If I take you to page 3, action taken on the second sentence. In response of these follow-ups, ZESCO has indicated that the works involved in the scope are no longer done in-house. The office explained that such works have to be packaged and given out to the contractors who do the works on behalf of ZESCO. Once the works have been done, then ZESCO finally does the connection. I want to have actually some comfort here. What do these people from ZESCO, what do they mean? Because there's no communication, and you are supposed to answer on their behalf according to the discussions that you had. This actually, for me, complicates the matter. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chair. Witness Director Works.
You can introduce yourself.
My name, first of all, is good morning. My name is Christopher Shakafusa. I'm the area member of parliament where you are here. You are in Mandev constituency. You are welcome.
Thank you.
Chair, the Director Works is saying that among the scope of works for Denmu General Dealers was to install a feeder pillar. Did you also engage them to erect poles and the wiring, since they are installing the feeder pillar? I want to understand this very well.
Director of Works, these 2 questions. CS, switch off your mic.
Thank you so much, Chair. So I will start with the first one. I think where concerns have been raised that we have not received communication or feedback from ZESCO in written form. So the people that we used to engage mostly is the manager at district level and the regional manager central province. So I think because of the, I don't know if it's communication procedures, they have to refer everything to their head office. So they never gave us a written response by then, but they had given us a verbal response where they had indicated to say, because of the shortages that they have in terms of poles, maybe importation of transformers, they normally resort to packaging these works so that they are given to a contractor who executes, then ZESCO comes with a conductor to connect the electricity. But like the boss and like the CS has indicated, he recently liaised with the managing director, I think, where assurance came that if we write to the head office, they will even give us written feedback. And I think that correspondence was submitted, is it last week? And they even stamped to say they received that correspondence. Then coming to the second concern, where I indicated the feeder pillar is just a reception point. So in terms of the poles were not part of the scope or part of the contract assigned to the contractor. I think we had assumed ZESCO is the one which is supposed to determine the number of poles that are needed and the type of conductors needed to come and connect power to the school. So this school is about 7 k's, I think, from the main grid. I submit, Chair.
Maybe before you go away, Director of Works, for 1 year you have been engaging ZESCO. You gave up this contract on 31st August 2022. Auditors came 31st August 2023, and you still had no written correspondence from ZESCO for the period of 12 months. Are you aware that this money is supposed to be to deliver development to Chisamba? Are you aware that you are the end users, you are the people that are supposed to deliver this? And who else is supposed to be following ZESCO or going to ZESCO? That's why my colleagues are asking, what's the appetite of paying ZESCO if ZESCO is not delivering service? We don't mind whether it's a government institution. It should actually, the government institution should understand that the delivery of service should be their number one thing on their table. So you can go for one year, not 1 month, 1 year without getting a written response from the people that you have paid. That's not right. Honorable
Chair, just to pick it from there. And seriously, you said with ZESCO the money is in safe hands. What will happen? Because ZESCO will subcontract. If now they will come back to you to say, no, of course the prices have gone high. What will happen? Are you seeing what will happen? This is ZESCO will subcontract. And those who will be subcontracted will have their own prices. Like the chair has indicated, it is taken long. Director of Works, help me, I'm a layman. Approved amount, 100. You allocate 112. Balance, you pay. Balance, 21. This person or this contractor has finished. So why are you holding on to the contractor's man? Again, I'm a layman. Teach me. Approved 100. Paying CS above 100. What is the explanation there? Director of Works.
Your mic. Your mic, please.
Thank you, Chair. I'll start with the concerns you raised, Honorable Chair. I think for ZESCO, what gave us, I think, the motivation even to pay later on is that there are other projects, I think, which we've engaged them on. And we continued making follow-ups with their office, not in written form, but through visiting their office physically. And there are other projects where they've actually connected power to our facilities, both health and education. I think those which were within proximity to the main grid. So we thought we could be motivated because they have shown goodwill on some projects. And one of the reasons we had to pay earlier is that if we delay, they always change their quotations. So we had to secure that payment so that in future, if there is any price fluctuation, ZESCO will bear that risk and not us as the council. And then I will come to the second concern, which was raised by the honorable member. Here it says approved amount was 100,000 kwacha, but amounts allocated 112,913. We apologize, Chair. I think there could have been a mishap on the wording here, because the actual allocated amount is 112,000. as per the CDF committee.
They approved?
Here it says the approved is 100,000 and the allocated is 112,000.
The wording has changed when you have come to your committee.
No, this is why I'm apologizing to say I think there is a mix-up on these terms.
Chair, Chair, with your indulgence. CS.
Switch off the mic, please.
Switch off your mic, Director of Works. Did you sit to go through your report before coming here? Normally the chair would say, did you go to Charimbana? Were you there in Charimbana?
Yes, Chair.
And you never saw this mix-up?
We didn't see that mix-up, Chair. We apologize, like the Director of Works has
You are seeing the mix-up in the second Charimbana, your committee.
Chair, we are sorry about that.
Chair, through you. Do we have the internal auditor here? Where were you when the mix-up was happening?
Just pause.
Through the chair. Sorry, sir, we didn't realize it. We are seeing it now.
Who would realize if you, as a goalkeeper, like my chair would say,
Switch off your mic.
will let goes just to go through? Even the internal auditor to come and realize it now. Chair, I end here.
Thank you. Honorable Shakafuswa.
Chair, there are two amounts here. Help me to understand through the witness. You paid the contractor 91,200. You also paid ZESCO 91,200. 235. How much was allocated for this project in total?
Director of Works.
Thank you so much, Chair. So initially, what was allocated was 112,913 kwacha, which was inclusive of a provisional sum of 10,000 for ZESCO connection. Yes. But when the bidders submitted their bids, I think they had also quoted based on the provisional sum of 10,000. Then the other amount was for the works on site. So when we got the first quotation from ZESCO, we realized that the amount that was needed for power connection was way beyond what was allocated. So we took that matter to the CDFC committee so that they could provide the additional resources to top up to the 10,000 provisional sum for connection of power. So the CDF committee had approved that difference, which was later on taken to PROGO for approval, and this is how this payment was processed. So the final amount allocated to this project should be about 200,000, Chair.
Chair, through you. Director of Works, do you know that here we don't accept about? What figure is about?
My apologies.
Here we accept actual figures, not about. Yes. Here it's actual what? Figures. So what is the actual figure, if you have that evidence?
Chair, with your indulgence, I think we apologize for this, and we need to get back and to our records and so that we establish what was the exact amount that was approved, allocated to the project. Thank you.
No members were ending.
Thank you, Chair. Now that ZESCO has told you that they are not doing this work, this scope of work in-house, and the CS, you just told this committee that you met the distribution manager at some ceremony, and he assured you, yes, he assured you that they're going to execute this work. Which statement are we going to take? Just take advantage of the last question, Chair, on page 1. Yeah. The construction of Chipandaike Community School. This Chipandaike Community School is under full contract by the contractor is Silconet, and the community is supposed to contribute 25% of the total expenditure by providing the aggregates needed for the works, such as crush stones and so on. The project has stalled, and the CDFC committee, the project has stalled because the community cannot provide the 25% materials. Then the CDF committee, management takes the matter to the CDFC committee, and the CDFC committee set aside 5,000 kwacha to buy the materials. And this 5,000 kwacha is only going to be available in 2024 budget. This is a project that started in 2021. Why did this very important project miss the 2023 additional allocation of 5,000 kwacha? Also, 5,000 kwacha is money that should delay this project to 3 years. Even the same 5,000 kwacha, it is not equivalent to 25% of the cost of expenditure of the materials, because your project sum is 344,000. So if you do 25% of that, are we coming to 5,000? So you are also explaining you use the guidelines of 2021 to allocate this project as full contract. But 2022, you had CDF new guidelines. Why did you, the major question, why should you delay the project just because of 5,000 kwacha to be funded in 2024, I think?
Secretary.
Director of Works, with your indulgence, I'll pick that up.
Okay. Director of Works.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. So, Chair, as indicated in our report, the community was slowly contributing this sand and aggregates. And we realized if we were going to move at their pace, we were going to delay the project forever. So at the time we were intervening, the amount of aggregates remaining were just 5,000. And from the date the CDF committee said they will commit 5,000 in the 2024 budget, we called the contractor and engaged him to say the community is supposed to supply the remaining materials for you to do the plastering, the flooring and the like. So the CDF committee has committed this amount for those aggregates. So if you can help us, you procure those aggregates, get to site and complete the works. The contractor agreed, and now, even as we are speaking, I think the auditor was there sometime last week to check on the progress of the works. The contractor is now finalizing on this project. I submit.
So, a short one.
Director of Works, educate me. Was this a full contract or labor-based contract?
Director.
Thank you, Chair. So it was not a labor-based contract. At the same time, I can't say it was a full contract because the material schedule which bidders were given to bid did not include the aggregate.
Director of Works, there are currently how many types of contracts? How many? 2. 1, labor-based. 2, full contract. So these works, were they contracted on full contract or labor-based contract? What is the answer? Because you cannot tell your committee to say it was not labor-based, neither can I say to say it was a full contract. You can't. You are the director of works, we are laymen. This contract, was it labor-based or full contract?
Director of Works.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I have to start by stating that, you know, prior to 2022, the old guidelines, they had this provision to say community should provide community contribution. And based on that, the way contracts were framed or BOQs were framed, they will remove that component which the committee agrees to contribute. So if the committee is saying we are going to contribute blocks or bricks, you would remove that component.
Through you, Chair, I'm not denying that. When it is for the community to contribute 25%, that contract, will it be full contract or labor-based?
Director.
Thank you, Chair. It would be labor-based.
Why were you taking all this time to explain?
My apologies, Chair.
Wait. And if it was labor-based, 2022, 2023, 2024, CS 5,000 kwacha is holding this project. We've heard the explanation. The auditor chair was there last week. Auditor, were you there last week?
My assistant was there. Sir.
Okay, it's the same office.
Yes.
We were there.
Yes.
Where is the evidence now to augment and support your director of works to say we were there, the works are being executed? Here is the evidence.
Yes, we have evidence, and we submitted the evidence to our CS. We got photos.
CS, where is the evidence which auditors submitted onto you?
Through the chair.
Through the chair.
Through the chair, the evidence, we only got it, like it is mentioned last week, so the evidence we only got it after we had already submitted our report. So there are a number of evidences that we are supposed to provide, Chair. Thank you.
You, Chair, have you come with that evidence?
Chair, we may submit the evidence if we are given 5 minutes.
Honorable Simumba, you had a question on the same?
No, let's just, I'm sure it's the last one, Chair, looking at time. Chair, on page 9.
No, 10 minutes.
On page 9, there are some number of outstanding, about 7 projects. And these, Chair, were earth-moving equipment. I'm concerned, Chair, on page 8, where the administrative cost has been used on the earth-moving equipment, and we are just remaining with 26,000 kwacha. I wanted to know how this money has been used, because mostly, Chair, the administrative cost is used on monitoring the projects, but here there are no projects which were being monitored. There were just some earth-moving equipments which were there. So how did the administrative cost used on the earth-moving equipments that we can just remain with the 26,000 kwacha. Chair, I submit.
Thank you. Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. I think we had earlier mentioned, I think, an answer to that question. We had given an answer to say, much as the community projects for 2022 was on F movement, we said we extended the usage of the administrative component to 2023 to do the monitoring of the roads. Because in 2023, most of the projects were to do with the monitoring of roads, the construction of roads. So we used part of those monies for the other monitoring projects. Then also we bought some office equipment like computers, then an industrial printer, such as those, Chair. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Member.
Chair, administrative cost even in 2023 was there. So why did the management use the administrative cost for 2022 in 2023 instead of varying it? And he's stating to say they bought some equipment. Chair, as you know, your committee is evidence-based. If maybe they can, avail us those valid funds which were connected to buy those equipments. Chair, I submit.
Thank you. Chisamba Town Council.
Chair, I think we had earlier requested that we be allowed to submit the breakdown of the same 700,000, how it has been used. Thank you, Chair.
Chisamba Town Council. As we wind up, we want to say your report is so uncoordinated. Director of Works, you cannot say the project that came all the way from 2021. This is 2024. You are still waiting for the community to do that, to make a contribution. When the CSCA is telling us that the administrative component even went on to buy the earth moving equipment. You mean you could not get that 5,000 to complete the project there, and it should wait? What kind of planning is that? Our pupils, our students wants to use those facilities, but you're still waiting for that. But when it comes for you to buy industrial printer, all those things, you are able to do that, but you can't care for the community that you are supposed to serve. It's very disappointing, that a local authority like yours, Council Secretary and your team, that you can wait for ZESCO without feeling pity actually for the pupils that are supposed to start learning ICTs from there. And ZESCO is not connecting. And then you take it casually. This like a love affair where you walk there and you talk to them, you come back. What is the official way of communication, CS? Institution between two institutions or more. What's the official way of communication?
It's written.
Yes, if you are writing the 12 months, past 12 months, then you are going to hold ZESCO responsible. Because you would have shown us the documents, this is what we did. We complained after 6 months. That 6 months has gone by. We complained after 8 months, and these are the documents that we are writing to them. But none of you could. Think on those lines. All we thought was, let's wait for ZESCO. We don't know the relationship that you have between ZESCO and yourselves, even the regional office. We don't know. Maybe they are colleagues, maybe they are relatives. As far as we are concerned, this is government man, and government has procedures. We cannot just pay and then forget and sit in the offices, because the past 12 months, when those people didn't receive the service, our communities, those past 12 months, you are getting paid for having a drink with ZESCO. You just go there, chat, they give you water or they give you whatever, and then you come back. You come and present that. It's quite painful. This is the reason as to why the president was actually lamenting that the uptake CDF and the projects, the way they are moving, just at 57%. He was talking about people like you. You are given the money, you are given everything, but what we have seen now on the administrative component, though we haven't seen your report on monitoring of projects, is that the money is almost gone. How much is the balance? 26. You could be the third born in this country in terms of the usage of the administrative component. You must be the third born in this country. Peter Oge first born in negative, 1.5 in negative. What are you using that money? No, we are missing lunch. Look at that reason. Which other council that came, the second born we said is what? But it's from Urapura anyway. Some council from Urapura. They are also almost in negative. Finished. What we are doing, projects are not monitored. They can't do anything. No, the road is not accessible. But all they are doing, yeah, that council that was paying somebody to deliver notices of the meeting, you pay somebody 25,000. It goes like a few taking meeting notices. You give this one 25,000 and the other one the same day 50,000 just to take those notices. You can see the abuse. And we want the ministry and the country at large, the leaders in this country, they should know what the councils are doing, and we are doing that. We don't spare. We will tell the nation that this council, this is what they are doing. They drive from, they are from Luingu. Is it from Luingu? They, Nsama? Yeah, Kaputa. They drive from Kaputa to Kasama, 20,000, two of them. So this is what we are seeing now. Here in Zambia we have people that are going to sit for 12 months, not doing anything. The project that started 2021, 2022, 2022 they can't fund it. 2023 they can't fund it. Because of 5,000. They are waiting for those poor people out there. Yet the government has given the poor people the money. So we want you to work hard, get coordinated. You are appearing before this committee next month. We want to see a very good report that will be coming from there. And I always urge you people that you have a notice that will come from Parliament that you are appearing before this committee. You have ample time to go through that report. I don't know, in Charimbana, Minister of Local Government, is here or is stepped out. We always tell him that we don't know the way they keep you there, because instead of polishing your report, you'd find people come with those simple mistakes. We want to see a polished report. We appreciate your appearance. Please get coordinated, work together. We want to see development being delivered in Chisamba. Thank you very much for making appearance. And at this point, let me withdraw the immunity that was conferred on you at the beginning of our interaction and allow you to travel back to Chisamba. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, for having us.
My eParliament mobile application. First, download the app on either Play Store or App Store and install. After installation, open the app. Step 1. Register your personal information, that's your names, gender, NRC, and date of birth. Step 2. Add your contact information, your email, phone number, and home address. Step 3. Select your constituency. Step 4. Create your 4-digit PIN. At this point, the system will send an SMS to your mobile number with a one-time passcode. Step 5. Confirm with one-time passcode that was sent to your mobile. Step 6. Sign in using your phone number and the 4-digit PIN. And Step 7. Create your submission and submit. My eParliament, bringing Parliament closer to you.
Cholera is an acute diarrheal infection caused by ingestion of food or water contaminated with the bacterium Vibrio cholerae.
Symptoms of cholera include vomiting, diarrhea, and dehydration.
How do you prevent cholera?
Be sure to drink and use safe water that has been boiled or chlorinated.
Wash your hands with soap and safe water before handling the food or after using the toilet.
Use clean water to wash your vegetables and fruits. Avoid eating foods from the street that have been exposed to flies.
Always eat food that is completely cooked and hot.
Make sure to visit your nearest health care center when you have suspected cholera cases.
Remember, prevention is better than cure.
Here is an announcement from National Assembly. The following committee meetings over the standing committees for the third session over the 13th National Assembly will start sitting on the following dates. Committee on Agriculture, Lands and Natural Resources will sit from 16th to 27th January 2024 in Robinson Navuliato under the topic Carbon Markets and Trading in Zambia, Opportunities and Challenges. Committee on Cabinet Affairs will sit from 16th to 27th January 2024 in Wesley Nyerenda under the topic Review over the Operations and Management of a Smart Zambia. Committee on Government Assurances will sit from 16th to 27th January 2024 in Thomas Williams under the topic Selected Government Assurances. Committee on Legal Affairs, Human Rights and Governance will sit from 16th to 27th January 2024 in Amusa Mwanamwambwa under the topic The Fight Against Corruption in Zambia. Committee on Local Governance, Housing and Chiefs Affairs will sit from 16th to 27th January 2024 in Committee Room Number 4 under the topic A Review over the Implementation of the Constituency Development Fund. Committee on Media, Information and Communication Technologies will sit from 16th to 27th January 2024 in Committee Room Number 1 under the topic Zambia ICT Infrastructure vis-a-vis Financial Technology Growth. Members of the public and other interested parties may contact the following officers in the office of the clerk. Mr. Stephen Chiwota, Director of Financial Committees, on telephone number 292-425 up to 36. Mrs. Doreen N.C. Mukwanka, Director, Social Committees, telephone number 292-425 up to 36. This information is available on the National Assembly website www.parliament.gov.zm.
The clerk of the National Assembly of Zambia wishes to inform all members of Parliament and the general public that the third session of the 13th National Assembly, which adjourned sine die on Friday, 15th December 2023, will resume on Tuesday, 13th February 2024 at 14:30 hours.
zikuoneka ngati anthu oyipa achuluka kuposa abwino, zikumaonekanso ngati anthu odziwa malemba achuluka kuposa owachita. Kuno zikumaonekanso ngati azitumiki anu ambiri nkhani ya chuma ya wayanja, zikumadzaonekanso ngati utenga oti mudzabweranso padakali pano adaupumitsa. Ine ndeni mati mwina mtumeko angelo anu pandipeze mugetse mani. Zikuoneka ngati pabwera malonda nyumba mwanu, zikuoneka ngati babisala chifwamba nyumba mwanu. Tumani angelo anu, tumani angelo anu andipeze mugetse mani. Zikuoneka ngati palola akuba nyumba mwanu, zikuoneka ngati babisala chifwamba nyumba mwanu. Koma ziri mnyumba mwanu, Yehova mnyumba mwanu, oh mnyumba mwanu. Alowetsa mukuba chigololo komanso malonda mnyumba mwanu. Kodi mesa mati simsenja tulodzana ndinkuja, inu muli yemwe uja mphamvu zanu ziri pompaja. Potakukwapula anthu paja ngati mnachitira kale lija mkachisimuja. Nangalero bwanji mtumeko angelo anu atawa wapule. Tati tumani angelo anu, oh angelo anu. Zikuoneka kuti anthu atopa ndiboza lalowa mnyumba yanu, zikuonekanso kuti anthu akulitsidwa koma mnyumba yanu. It's my
I'm Kapelwa Mbagweta, Member of Parliament for Nkeyema. I went to school for my primary school in Sefula. Then I went to the Sheke Secondary School. Then to the University of Zambia. After completing at the University of Zambia, that time we had the one holding company called Zimco. I started working at Zesco, where I spent most of my time, I think around 10 years. Then I was transferred to Zambia State Insurance. From Zambia State Insurance, I was transferred to Zimco head office, where I stayed until Zimco went into voluntary liquidation as a result of a political decision by the government then. From that time, I went into the private sector. I worked for PricewaterhouseCoopers for a number of years. Then I went to NAPSA, where I was the first director of human resources in the Transform the National Provident Fund. After that, I retired, became a full-time consultant, and also on the sidelines, a politician. This is my second term. I was first elected in 2016-2021. I'm married with 5 children. The people in Nkeyema are farmers. As a matter of fact, Nkeyema is the bread basket of Western Province, second only or probably at par with Kaoma. And so we do a lot of farming there. And in the future, after we've done all the basics, we will be applying some of the CDF to productive activities. Productive activities in the sense that you buy tractors and that sort of thing. So the enhanced CDF is the icing on the cake, because in Nkeyema we have 4 ways of bringing development to the people. Firstly, through central government. Secondly, through CDF now. Thirdly, through corporates and the international non-governmental organizations. Of course, the enhanced CDF means that all of a sudden, we've been able to do so many things which we never imagined. So, for example, from the infrastructure side, last year we had the 16 projects, and we have 8 wards, which means 2 projects per ward. And if we add up projects also by the partners, would be in a year in the region of 20, 30 projects at a go. Obviously, the enhanced CDF has enabled us to do a lot of things, including the skills development, which would not have imagined possible. In the rural areas, unlike the towns or line of rail, people or citizens can appreciate the meaning of the enhanced CDF, unlike maybe in Lusaka, because everywhere they go, they can see and feel the presence of the government in terms of addressing their needs. And so we are grateful for this opportunity, in effect, to deliver on all things that are possible and have been made possible. And of course, in Nkeyema, we are slightly luckier than other constituencies because some of the partners, like World Vision, like WaterAid, are bringing projects to us which will reduce substantially on some of the money we would have spent through CDF. So, for example, by bringing maternity annex to our health centers, by bringing water and sanitation arrangements to a number of schools, and so that has reduced on what we would have done, which means now we'll be even able to do much better than.
Chair. My name is, good morning Chair and everyone. My name is Siame Devi. I'm Director representing the Auditor General. Thank you.
Morning Chair, morning everyone. And my name is Medrin Mumba from the Office of Auditor General.
Good morning Honorable Chair, good morning Honorable Committee members. My name is Lubinda Sinyani from the Planning and Research Department in the Office of the Auditor General. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members. My name is Stanley Mwemba, representing the Office of the Accountant General.
Morning, Chair. Good morning, members of the committee. Morning, Chitambo. Chuya Davis, Acting Assistant Director, Local Authorities, Control of Internal Audit. Welcome.
Good morning, Honorable Chair and the committee. Chitambo, welcome. I'm Edwin Sirimba from Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development.
Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Emmanuel Balia from the Office of the Clerk.
Thank you. Now I invite you, Council Secretary, to introduce yourself and allow your colleagues to do the same.
Thank you very much, Chair, and it's a pleasure to be here. I have not come alone, Chair. I'm with my team, but my name is Muiche Isaac Mudala, the Council Secretary for Chitambo Town Council. Thank you. Then we can go in this way.
Good
Switch off
morning,
your
Chair.
mics, yes.
Good morning, Chair, and good morning, everyone. My name is Amebo Mswema. I'm the Council Treasurer for Chitambo Town Council.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Honorable Committee members, and good morning, everyone. My name is Precious Mkamba, the District Planning Officer for Chitambo Town Council.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, everyone. My name is Brighton Kamanga, Director of Engineering for Chitambo Town Council.
Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, everyone. My name is Museto Brian. I'm the Procurement Officer at Chitambo Town Council.
Morning, Chair. Morning, Committee. My name is Mwenya Joseph, Internal Auditor, Chitambo Town Council.
Good morning, Chair. Sylvester Movita is my name. Chief Accountant, Chitambo Town Council.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, everyone. My name is Hope Nambela, Socio-Economic Planner, Chitambo Town Council.
Thank you very much, honorable members. Honorable Singombe.
Chair, I'm grateful and good morning. Chitambo Town Council, good morning. I'm Singombe Edgar, representing the people of Dundumwezi in Kalomo Southern Province. You are welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. And the Chitambo Council, you are welcome to this committee. My name is Elliot Kamondo, Member of Parliament for Mfumbwe constituency. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning, Chitambo. I'm Honorable Dr. Aaron Mwanza, Area Member of Parliament for Kaumbwe constituency, Petoke District of the Eastern Province. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Chitambo, you are most welcome. And Happy New Year. Motelo Mishek, MP for Mitete constituency and a member of your committee.
Good morning, Chair. Morning, our permanent witnesses, and
Good morning, Chitambo Town Council. This is Luhamba Mwene, Member of Parliament for Mangango Consensus, and I'm a member of this committee. You are welcome. Thank you.
Good morning, the Honorable Chair and Honorable Members. Good morning, the permanent witness, and welcome, Chitambo Council, to Mandevu constituency, where I represent the good people of Mandevu. My name is Christopher Shakafoswa. I'm a member of the committee. Thank you.
Chair, good morning. Good morning, fellow members of Parliament. Morning once again, permanent witnesses. Chitambo, you're welcome. Mishek Mtetwa Nyambose, representing the special people of Chasefu constituency in Eastern Province and a member of this committee. Welcome once again. Thank you.
Vice Chair. Chitambo, my name is Mulunda Darius, Member of Parliament for Siavonga constituency, the chairperson for the committee appearing before this morning, the Committee on Local Government Accounts. Council Secretary, members of Parliament enjoy the immunity under Kapkov of the laws of Zambia in the House, and the same is extended to you, that whatever you say during our interaction cannot be used against you in any courts of law. But however, if you choose to mislead this committee, the same will be applied on you. But I have no doubt that you wouldn't take that route, and that you're going to give us factual information this morning, the information that will help us generate a very good report to submit before Honorable Madam Speaker in the main House. Now with that, I want to invite you now to make your submission with further guidance that you only read the query, you go to your responses, management responses, you go to the action that you have taken, and of course the remedy that you are offering. Please, you may proceed in that fashion.
Much obliged, Chair. First of all, I would like to extend our sincere gratitude for having us here with my team. Chair, we recognize you. Of course, we want to extend a warm gratitude also to the committee members and, of course, the permanent witnesses. Chair, with me from Chitambo Town Council, we have our oral submission and evidence, which has been compiled in a booklet. On the third page, Chair, we do have a table of contents for ease of navigation. And then when the main report starts on page 2, that is where the issues are. Chair, my report has, the main report has only 16 pages, and the remainder of the pages are the appendices, which we will attempt, Chair, to refer to as I make the presentation.
Just when you are there, on page 9, the project status report doesn't look good to us. Please make amends. Would not want to return you like a summer on the same. You know, look at the font that you have used on that. Maybe it's a way of, making these, your honorable members, not able to read. They should not see it.
That is noted, Chair.
We are not grade ones. So we can't read some of these small things.
No, we've taken note, Chair, of the font, and I think we will obviously try and increase the font so that we can increase the number of pages for ease of reference by the members of the committee.
Please proceed, page 2.
Thank you, Chair. So I will begin with the failure to recover funds, village banking. The cause of query, Chair. Management wish to acknowledge the audit findings and wish to state that despite the capacity building of the cooperatives, the groups misunderstood the purpose of the fund. Further, Chair, I wish to aver that the Council could not adequately monitor the cooperatives due to lack of a monitoring vehicle at the time of audit. The action taken, Chair, management wish to state that it has since written warning letters to the clubs on the would-be implications of failure to recover the funds. Despite this action taken, Chair, there has not been feedback from the club or the group involved. Chair, I wish to add that the vehicle has since been received, and monitoring has greatly enhanced, and we had occasion to make progress in this regard. Chair, for the appendices to this query, they are on page 17 under Appendix 1. The remedial measures taken, management, Chair, wish to recommend that going forward, a member tracking system will be centrally developed, and there will be full disclosure of members in the application form, unlike where only 10 members are disclosed. Chair, I move on to number 2, Roman numeral 2, on page 3, non-operational tailoring business by Natwange Women's Club. The cause of query, Chair, is management acknowledges the audit findings and wish to state that despite the cooperative undergoing the capacity building on the use of grants, the group misunderstood the purpose of the funds. On the action taken, management, Chair, wish to report that the club was engaged and has since procured the materials for the production of the school uniforms, and the photos of these uniforms, Chair, and the receipt for the procurement of materials are attached and as Appendix 2, that is on pages 18 to 20. Remedial measures taken, Chair. Despite that success, management wish to report that it will in future strengthen the capacity building and emphasize on sole purpose of the empowerment grants, and that they should be done on time. The third query, Chair, is failure to establish maize and rice fields, and this is Chipulilo Cooperative. The cause of query, Chair, management acknowledges the audit findings and wish to state that the cooperative could not establish the maize rice fields because they did not understand the purpose of the funds. The action taken, Chair, management engaged the cooperative on the farming project and wish to report that the cooperative successfully procured the farming inputs and has planted the maize and soya beans for the 2023-2024 farming season. The photos of this evidence, Chair, is attached as Appendix 3 on page 21. Remedial measures. Management, Chair, wish to state that going forward, continuous capacity building should be conducted in order for the groups to acquire sufficient knowledge and understanding on the purpose of the empowerment grants. Query number 4, Chair, Roman numeral 4, failure to procure hammer mill. Cause of query, management acknowledges the audit findings and wish to state that the high price of the hammer mill in Zambia caused the delay to procure the hammer mill as funds were not enough, hence the cooperative opted to procure it from Tanzania. The action taken, Chair, management wished to report that at the time of the audit, the club was in the process of procuring the said hammer mill, which has since been procured and is operational. The photos of the hammer mill, Chair, and the receipt of the procurement are attached as Appendix 4, and this is on page 22 to page 24. Remedial measures taken, management wish to acknowledge and wish to report that it will conduct continuous capacity building and emphasize on cost implications when submitting projects to the CDF. Chair, Roman numeral 5, lack of adequate poultry houses to sustain poultry business. The cause of query, Chair, this is on page 6. Management acknowledges the audit findings and wish to state that the cooperatives lacked sufficient knowledge in poultry rearing, which resulted in the high mortality rate. The action taken, Chair, management wished to state that the club was engaged in the importance of expanding the poultry house and depositing club proceeds in the bank. The evidence, Chair, is attached as Appendix 5 from pages 24 to 25. Remedial measures taken. Management wish to report that it will in future ensure that continuous capacity building is conducted to all club members in order to equip them with sufficient knowledge on the intended business. Chair, we turn to page 7 on cross-cutting audit findings, and the first one is budget performance. Chair, in similar fashion, you had hinted on the font of on the previous one. I think we're going to give this the same treatment. Cause of query, Chair, management acknowledges the audit findings and wish to state that the poor budget performance was as a result of delayed publication of the CDF guidelines in February 2023. Furthermore, Chair, there was need to train the WDC executives and CDFC members. There was also need to seek approval from the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development on the recommended projects. The variance of 2 million, Chair, was utilized for the purchase of the CDF monitoring vehicle and the Zambia police vehicle, which was deducted at source. The interest of 29,983 was earned on the CDF revolving fund, account which is an interest earning account. The balance brought forward amounting to 2,074,621 comprises 1,600,000, which was the 2021 CDF allocation received on 1st October 2021, and a balance of 474,621 for the 2020 CDF allocation. Action taken, Chair. At this point, I wish to make a correction that the amount of 19,119,782 should read 19,118,781. Chair, I wish to mention that management report as of 31st December 2023 spent the said amount 19,118,781, leaving a balance of, I will make another correction there, Chair, 4,621,129 kwacha 48 ingwe, representing 81% expenditure. Below, Chair, there is a table that just gives a breakdown on the various categories of the project. It spills onto page 8, Chair. Page 9, Chair, those are the community status projects. I think you had hinted, Chair, and we stand duly guided that going forward we will ensure that the font is increased to ensure that the honorable members of the committee can follow properly. But that is a table that is showing the completed projects and that were handed over and currently being used, Chair. There are 12 in number. Then the second table, 2, shows the completed but not yet handed over projects. On page 10, Chair, we have the ongoing projects, which are 8 in number, and these are at various levels of completion, Chair. Remedial measures taken. Management wish to report that it has ensured that submissions of project proposals are done timely and begins the procurement process early to avoid project implementation delays. Chair, I'm on page 11 and I turn to cross-cutting issues, query Roman numeral 2, failure to spend. Cause of query, management acknowledges the audit findings and wish to state that failure to spend on community project was as a result of lengthy procurement procedures and delayed approval of projects by the Ministry and the Attorney General. Chair, these are on pages 84 to 105. The action taken, management has devised a plan that within 7 days of signing a contract, Chair, this clause has been embedded in the contract that contractors sign, that the contractor mobilizes and commences the works within 7 days of signing. This forms part of the contract, and the extract of the contract and completion certificates and status report are shown as appendices 7. Chair, these are a lot of appendices from pages 84 to 93, and then they speed off to 105. Management wish to report that as at 31st December 2023, it spent 9,646,504, leaving a balance of 3,657,245 kwacha, 7 ingwe, representing 72% burn rate. The table following, Chair, again, as I mentioned, shows it shows the categories, Chair, and we have the same appendage has been repeated to show the completed, the handed over and not handed over, and the ongoing projects. The remedial measures, Chair, taken is that management wishes to state that WDCs have been sensitized on early submission of the project applications. And Appendix 7, Chair, is misappropriation of funds amounting to 40,000 kwacha. The cause of query, Chair, management acknowledges the audit findings and wish to state that the high price of the hammer mill in Zambia caused a delay to procure the hammer mill as the funds were not enough, hence the cooperative opted to procure it from Tanzania. Action taken, management wish to report, Chair, that at the time of the audit, the club was in the process of procuring the hammer mill, which has since been procured. The photos of the hammer mill and the receipt of the procurement of the hammer mill are attached as Appendix 8 on page 106. Remedial measures taken, Chair. Management wish to report that it will conduct continuous capacity building and emphasize on the cost implications. Chair, we wish to conclude our report by stating that, we wish you to allow to submit in conclusion that Chitambo Town Council, Chair, located at the junction of the road leading to Samfya in Wapula Province and the north in Muchinga provinces faces significant challenges as a transit town. The district is also largely engulfed by chiefdoms and forest reserves, which presents difficulty in managing clubs in these areas due to heavy influence of traditional leadership. Despite these challenges, Chair, we are unfazed by them and have embraced planning agreements as a way of bridging the gap between traditional leadership and the local authority. This ensures that those who benefit from the CDF are held accountable and that our interventions are in line with the law and, most importantly, their development needs. Chair, Chitambo Town Council sees this as a unique opportunity for growth and development rather than a concern, and we have devised a strategy of constant progressive improvement in our operations on various cross-cutting issues, including but not limited to the following.
Thank you very much. I'm sure the members have gone through that.
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Simambe.
Chair, I'm very grateful for giving me an opportunity to find out something from the town clerk. May I refer you to page 4 of your submission? Failure to establish maize and rice fields. CS, I'm finding myself there not to believe this statement. I have difficulties to believe this statement. How can a cooperative fail to understand the purposes of the fund? When you look at just the application, when a cooperative wants to apply, there are certain things that, or factors that should be fulfilled for you to fund that particular cooperative. So, in your, or the causes of the query, you are suggesting that the cooperative did not understand. How did you give them the money in the first place? If they did not understand what they applied for, then how did the council authorize the payment of such an amount? And number two, are you telling me and the committee that there was no sensitization prior to the allocation or application of these women to ask for funds from the CDF? Thank you very much, Chair.
Council Secretary.
Chair, I'm most obliged and thank you for that question, Honorable Singombe. And it is a twofold question. The first part, you wish to understand why the cooperative that applied for this fund could not understand the purpose for which they were applying. And the second one was there a sensitization or not? Chair, in responding to this question, first of all, I wish to mention that as cooperatives began this enhanced CDF in 2022, of course, the criteria of applying as clubs and cooperatives was fairly new to most of them, whereas they could perhaps engage in a business individually, but as a cooperative, there were these teething problems that we identified as well. And Chair, in our remedial measures, we did mention that going forward, capacity building is going to be a continuous process, but we did realize that in the district, we are armed with the district agricultural coordinator and other like-minded professionals who need to offload some of the knowledge that they have to this cooperative. So in the case of this particular cooperative, it was the issue of them having trouble with the timing, because the funding with rice, you plant at a certain period in the year. You can't just plant anyhow because you need to time it with the rain. So the approval process also took a bit of time. By the time the funds were being released, I think that is the challenge that we had. And in terms of capacity building, Chair, we now are ensuring that before any cooperative is given the funding, a 5-day training is held to ensure that we are following each other and we understand the purpose for which we are setting this up. So in a nutshell, Chair, to answer the question, you would say the issue of the understanding was for them to appreciate that as these projects are being submitted to the wards, which eventually find their way to the CDFC, the timing and everything is supposed to be held in contemplation, and the DACO now has been placed at the helm of ensuring that these people fully understand the purpose of this.
Council Secretary,
I submit.
Before I allow my colleague to make a follow-up question, the explanation on this report is that these people had no clue of the business they are entering. They had no clue, they had no field, they had no clue of what they wanted to do. Do we have the minutes that are coming from the WDCs that recommended that these people can be funded for this particular project, when people didn't even, how do take, you want to empower somebody with a vehicle, somebody who has never driven, you want to give that person a bus and say, no, you can start this business. It's exactly what was happening, because when the auditors went, there was no field. Takwala Mabala, whatever they call it that side. Honorable Simon.
Chair, you are correct. I just wanted the CS to confirm that the response that they've given the committee is actually wrong. Because what I see in what you have explained is that probably they were giving the resources at a wrong time. Because definitely planting, agriculture is time bound. If you give them, if you release seed in July, definitely they would not plant until the rain season. But the way you have put it there, you are it's like you are saying they applied but they didn't know what they wanted to use the money for. So in short, are you confirming that the cause that you have indicated here does actually not meet or does not describe the cause of this query?
Before you respond, Honorable Kamondo.
Chair, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes. Do you tell your committee that in Zambia today, any grown-up person who will not know how to farm, who will fail to have a clue how to farm. Is it true? Chair, it is the mandate of the council, the DPO, to help the people. Like you have now gone ahead to say, where we are now doing the sensitization. We are telling people what they ought to do. These clubs went through your management. After having gone through your management, you come and tell your committee to say they never had a clue on what they were doing. How did you fund them? How did you fund them? But tell me, grown up, anyone, even just walk out from here, go anywhere, pick someone to say, do you know how to farm maize or rice? And then that person should say, we don't know. Is it true, Chair?
You respond. Honorable Gaman. Council Secretary.
Chair, thank you so much. I appreciate the follow-up question by Honorable Singombe and the addition by Honorable Mutelo. The short answer I would give is that the communities did not exactly, were not totally blank, maybe to use those words. They had knowledge, but the issue is there were a number of variables that needed to be had in contemplation. Number one is the rate of disbursement or the time at which the funds will be disbursed, and then also the type of business they were engaging in. So this is, as I was saying, yes, Honorable Mtelo is very right. Adults, this is a largely agrarian district. So they've been doing this thing for a long time, but on a subsistence level. Now at this time, it is bringing in an element of a cooperative that has to go through the approval process. So even at the time the applications were being made, now the sensitization we are making is that you are going in this field. Have in mind that there's an approval process that it has to undertake. What if it delays? What is a contingency that you will have in plan to still be able to meet the objective of the business you're trying to enter into? So it is a two-way kind of engagement, Chair, that we are trying to have with them. So yes, we have done the sensitization, Chair, and on these ones we're very happy that now the project has been done and the crop looks very healthy. I submit, Chair.
Honorable Gamondo, Honorable Nyamboso, and then Honorable Shaka.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. CS, you have mentioned one of the reasons for the other hand is because the people or the clubs didn't understand the purpose of the money, and you have now clearly said no, maybe it's because of the season. However, I want to take you to page 2. Item number 1, failure to recover funds for village banking. Now, from what you have responded is that also this club, Sunbed Women's Club and Lapwing Women's Cooperative, respectively, who received sums actually totaling to 35,000, and the other one received 40,000. And after a lengthy time, they engaged themselves in village banking. Then, let alone, there was no response from the people that got the money. And some of these people were also civil servants who received part of this. In fact, they were community members, civil servants, who were supposed to pay back at an interest rate of about 10%, and were supposed to pay within 6 months. However, when the auditors came, by 30th June, no progress was made in terms of loan repayment. Then you have also said the same group
the group misunderstood the purpose of funds. Now my question is, one, when you are giving out this money, did they have any project proposal, how they were going to give out, to do the business, how they were going to recover the money? Were they sensitized in that manner? Secondly, and even after they had actually received that money, did you do any monitoring to make sure that you were able to go on the ground, remind them, and say, how far have you gone? Or maybe the monitoring was not done. Yes, one of the reasons which you have given is that by that time you didn't have transport. But yet, even after having had transport, what is it that you did at that time? And what is the status quo? Does it mean that these people up to now, even in civil servants who are getting money monthly, does it mean that they are not ready to pay? Or what is the status quo? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I think I should state at this point that we are, as Chitambo, very elated. We did receive the monitoring vehicle, and Chair, it has greatly eased our operations. And this is one of the reasons why we were able to even establish exactly some of these things. Chair, allow me just to go one better and mention that with cooperatives now we have learned another issue as well, that we need to somehow hold certain individuals accountable. The form, the way it is designed, we have found a little issue with it. That's why we have now developed an online database where we're going to enter all these people to be able to know. And most importantly, the chairperson and the secretary of the committees will write some sort of a commitment as the funds, prior to the funds disbursement. That is just to try and ensure that, you know, these funds are supposed to be a revolving fund, and others must also have the chance to benefit from them. Chair, I'll take you to page 17, and that is where one of the actions that we took is listed. We did write them a very serious letter, and I think it was emanating from this, that upon receipt of this letter by the Secretary, Madam Malon Mwamba, I think at this point I can even give chance to my DPO to just give more context on what has transpired regarding this particular women group. DPO.
Thank you, CS. Thank you, Chair.
CS, your mic.
Yes, so the progress made so far with the two women group is that, according to the explanation, when they were engaged, we sat down with them and told them that these funds are supposed to be revolving and these are government funds. So according to the explanation, they stated that most of the people that got the funds, they diverted them to agriculture. As you know, Chitambo is an agriculture district. So they ventured into agriculture. However, the crop they
Chitambo is an agriculture district. People got money and they didn't know the purpose. Continue.
Yes, thank you, Chair. So as of this year, most of the people that got ventured into agriculture. Last year they had losses due to the price of soya beans, which most of them had ventured into. But this year, after we sat down with them, they promise that the crops are doing well. So arising from that, once they harvest, they're going to start paying back to the cooperative.
Honorable Shakafuswa.
Chair, I think on this issue, from number 2, 3, 4 up to 6, they point to two things. Orientation was not done at the beginning when we were dispersing these funds. Number 2, we were not doing monitoring and evaluation as a council. So I'm glad to see that in your remedial measures, you are saying you make sure that these things are done. To explain, to go around, will not help this committee. Sometimes it is just okay to admit that this was not done. And then we move to other things. I submit, Chair.
Honorable Nyambosi, on the same matter or a different one?
The maize and rice.
Yes.
Yes, Chair.
Yes.
On the maize and rice, Chair, number 1 is that I noted that from rice it changed to soybeans. My question, Chair, on page 4 was that the area indication this club had wanted to plant maize and rice. What changed and what reasons were given to the office to change from rice to soya beans? Any minutes, any evidence? The other one, Chair, is what Honorable Shakafus was just finished talking about. The issue of monitoring. On page 2, I noted that they were indicating that why they failed is because by that time the council did not have a monitoring vehicle. The question to the CS and the team is, would you tell this committee if at all you failed to, the reasons you failed to monitor the projects, and if you did not spend any amount, if you spent any amount on the administrative cost, and what were you using those funds for? Because you didn't have vehicles, hence you justified why you were not monitoring. Did you spend any money on administrative cost, and what activities did you spend that money on, and any evidence that you can show that we had this activity? Apart from that, you did not monitor any project. I submit, Chair.
CS number 1, Honorable Shakafuswa says, it's sometimes very good just to own up. Then now go to, as to why we changed from rice to soya beans. Then no, we had no monitoring vehicle, but the administration cost was not stagnant. Monies were being spent. So where were you spending those monies? Over to you, sir.
Chair, thank you so much, and we stand guided by that wise counsel. Indeed, we wish to acknowledge that though we would have loved to do much better in terms of sensitization, yes, there was a lot of room for improvement. And even now, even if we're doing enhanced, we still can do much better. So we stand guided by that.
You know what Honorable Shakafuswa is saying is, here is a teacher and a pupil. 1 + 1, the pupil writes 4. Then the teacher comes to say, because the pupil never understood. Whose fault?
It's the pupil, sir.
The pupil's fault. Here is a teacher and a pupil. 1 + 1, the pupil writes 4. Then the teacher comes to say, the pupil never understood.
Oh, okay.
Whose fault? Who is the owner of the fault? It would mean the teacher never taught the pupil.
Well.
That's what Honorable Shakafuswa is saying. You can't come and tell your committee to say the clubs never understood because you never did your work. Soya beans and the other questions, because I'm seeing hands.
Yes. On the rice and maize field, and the picture depicting the maize field and soya beans, DPO, we can add context to the answer.
Your mic, sir. Before I just want to finish this, then I give back the chair to the boss. Yes.
Thank you, Chair. I think if I take back the Honorable, the other question was on the village banking. I was explaining as to why the remedial measures we've put in place. So one of them was the people that got the money are farmers who are growing soya beans, Chair, and not the other query. The other query is strictly for rice and maize field, while the answer I was giving was based on the village banking response, Chair.
The Honorable, where has the rice changed into soya beans? Honorable Nyambose. Page 4.
On action taken, Chair.
You've seen that? Action taken. DPO, are you there?
Yes, Chair, I've actually seen it.
Read your action taken.
Yes, Chair. So the action taken reads, management engaged the cooperative on the farming project and wishes to report that the cooperative successfully procured the farming inputs and has planted maize and soya beans for
Yes,
the
just there. So why has soybeans taken over the place of who? Rice?
Chair, for this one, it's an oversight on our part, where they did not write to us to inform us that they've grown the soybeans, Chair.
Who wrote this? Is it them or you?
It's us, Chair.
You went there and you found soybeans or rice?
We found soybeans, Chair.
No wonder your committee do go through this. CS.
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Shakafuswa says, on up for us to be making progress. Honorable members, are we still on the same because we have to move? A new one on this or on the other? Okay. Yes, sir. Honorable Kamondo. The new one is on question what? Yes. Oh, okay. So, Honorable Kamondo.
Let's go to page 3.
Page 3.
Action taken on failure to recover the funds which were supposed to be for village banking.
Yes, sir.
As we wait for the chairperson to get settled. Management wishes to state that it has written warning letters to the clubs on the would-be implications failure to recover the fund. Despite this action taken, there has been no any other feedback from the clubs which were involved. I just want to be given a comfort. If you have written the clubs, this is a village banking, and some of the monies you gave them, they gave this money to the civil servants, and the civil servants, they are on a monthly salary, but 6 months they cannot do that. And now this time around, you even received a monitoring vehicle. I asked, what is the status quo now? Is it that these people are still insisting that the other people that received the money will never pay, or what? And also, after having written them, do you have a written feedback which you can put on the table to just give us an assurance that these people are very serious and are going to pay back? Because this money is meant to be paid back. Village banking, you receive 10%, you add on, you pay. That is how it's supposed to be. DPO, what is the... Can you just clarify on this one? I don't understand it very well.
Supplementary, Chair, just an addition.
Yes, please.
In an event that there is a stalemate, do we see the local authority taking these people to police or reporting them to police to force them to pay back the money?
Secretary.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Yeah, and we take the observation by Honorable Kamondo and Honorable Kangombe seriously. Silume. Silume. Thank you, sir. We stand corrected. The DPO had alluded earlier on to the fact that we did engage with them. I think after this letter was written, they realized the seriousness with which this business is taken, and they did show up. Chair, at the time of audit verification, we are confident that when that happens, you would see progress. The question was, what has happened? What has happened? Yes, they did come through. Would have loved to have come with a lot of evidence to that effect, but we are given the assurance that this is going to happen, and we are happy so far with the coordination that we are receiving, and we are confident that at the time of verification, Chair, you will find that this matter has been rested. I submit.
Chair, it is a different one, Chair. Chair, it is on page 5.
Honorable Nyambose, just a minute, sorry about that.
Thank you so much, Chair. On the same, Chair, I don't know what kind of advice the DPO was able to provide to this particular cooperative. You can see they gave out the monies at 10% interest. And this 10% interest, Chair, was to be paid in 6 months' time. Not monthly, but it is written here. To be paid over 6 months from January. Chair, what kind of a business did the DPO provide to these our people? If it was 10% monthly, it was going to be reasonable, Chair. But for the DPO to say, yes, okay, people can get this money and be able to return it after 6 months with the 10% interest. What kind of business advice did the DPO provide to these clubs? I submit, Chair.
Honorable Nyambose, please take note of, CS, take note of the question.
Chair, allow me to take you to page 5, or the committee to page 5. I will combine this one, Chair, because it's almost the same, not almost, it's the same as the one which is on page 13. Chair, it is on page 5, it is failure to procure a hammer mill. A physical inspection conducted in May revealed that the cooperative had not yet procured the hammer mill, and the 40,000 received had been withdrawn and used for unknown activities. The interest, Chair, is on the management's response. Management acknowledges the the audit findings and wishes to state that the high price of hammer mill in Zambia caused the delay to procure the hammer mill as the funds were not enough. Hence, the cooperative opted to procure it from Tanzania. Chair, that is the interest. They marry it with the page 13, misappropriation of 40,000 kwacha, Chair. When you marry it with this, it's the same 40,000 kwacha. This group was supposed to procure a hammer mill also. Then look at the management response, Chair. Management acknowledges the audit findings and wishes to state that the high price of hammer mill in Zambia caused the delay to procure the hammer mill as the funds were not enough. Hence, the cooperative opted to procure it from Tanzania. Chair, I want to go to what Honorable Mutero has indicated. These councils should not be giving responses for the purpose of just answering. As I say so, Chair, I want to take this committee and the CS to Appendix 8. The last page. 8 should be the last page of this document. Last page. This, Chair, is a receipt for a hammer mill. Raymond Lawikivavala from Tunduma. Look at the price of a hammer mill. Zambian kwacha, 26,000. The amount supplied for 40,000. Management says they failed to procure this hammer mill because it was in Zambia it was very high. And Chair, we are all MPs here. We procure and the prices of the hammer mills are less than 40,000. Now, this receipt indicating that they procured the 26,000 kwacha. I want to ask the Council Secretary, how true is it that the hammer mill in Zambia at that time, 2022, was costing more than 40,000 kwacha? I submit.
Is it on the same? Yes.
On the same, CS. I would want to agree with you. The prices were very high. For example, if you were to go to Saro, do you have any evidence of quotations that you would have gotten at that time to say the prices were very high? Is there any evidence? Mind you, Honorable Nyambose has told you to say they have constituencies. They may have also procured hammer mills. is it true? Look at your receipt. If you look on top of the receipt, you changed. There was a different figure there. And the change no one countersigned. Why?
Yeah. May I take the...
Thank you very much, Chair. Maybe just a build-up from Honorable Nyambose. I may not argue that at that time the hammer mills were quite expensive and unaffordable compared to the allocation, and then you decided to buy it from Tanzania where it was cheaper at 26,000. Do you have any evidence of how you utilized the 14,000, which was the balance? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair, for the chance to explain or to answer this question that has generated a massive interest. First of all, Chair, I would like to make mention to the Honorable Committee that this procurement is not centrally done. There are procurements that we conduct as a council, maybe through our locally generated revenue, the capital grant, etc. This is Constituency Development Fund, and the committees would make submissions, and once their submissions are approved, they open the bank accounts, and the funds are transferred in their bank accounts, and the committees withdraw the funds, and then they utilize. So our role is monitoring and ensuring compliance with the submission, Chair. So I would wish to submit to the committee, Chair, finally, that these were the receipts that we managed to obtain from the committee, from the ward and the cooperatives, insofar as the utilization of that fund was concerned. I submit, Chair.
Yes.
Yes, doesn't procurement advise? Some constituencies bought these hammer mills at Saro, and they were less than 40,000 kwacha delivered. Again, any evidence to show that the prices of hammer mills that year was very expensive in Zambia? We cannot just take a blanket statement. Do you have any evidence, any quotation that would tell to say the prices were high?
Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. I appreciate the follow-up question, and I would still, Chair, wish to state or submit that in terms of pricing, we rely on what is called the market price index, and the Honorable Mtelo did mention that you get advice from procurement. Yes, we do. We do have the MPIs, Chair, but the cooperatives, as I stated, the funds are transferred to their bank accounts, and they have got separate signatories, and they withdraw the funds, and then they go and implement. So yes, Chair, we take the council. Going forward, we are going to ensure that there's that link, there's that consistency with the MPI as regards the pricing of the commodities that they procure. But maybe I can just allow, just for finality and fullness of the answer, maybe City and DPO can just speak, because there was a question asked about the 26,000.
Okay, before they respond, Honorable Nyambose.
Chair, before they respond, I want to thank you. And I'm aware that you have been told that you are live on TV and radio. The nation is interested. Simple question, yes or no? Planning officer, planning officer, socio-economic planner, treasurer, and the procurement, and yourself, just to state that at that price, at that time, the prices in Zambia for a hammer mill were way beyond 40,000. Yes or no? If it is yes, you just say yes, because you must be on record. As it has been said, we come from constituencies. We administer. Actually, our officers, they even know what these clubs want to procure and how much. They even advise, this amount you are asking, you may not manage to buy this before approval. So you in Chitambo, you say, no, we just give them as a request. Whatever they do, you don't care. Yes or no? Were the prices of hammer mills in Zambia at that time more than 40,000 kwacha? I submit, yes or no?
Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. I get advice from my procurement officer vis-a-vis the MPI. Maybe just quickly state to
Procurement.
Thank you, Chair. The price of a hammer mill, of course, was at that time was beyond 40,000.
So when you say beyond, it was higher than 40,000. That's what you are saying?
It was higher than 40,000. Yes.
Did you get quotations to submit? You as procurement officer, do you have 3 quotations that would indicate that yes, they are high and you opted to go to Tanzania?
As the CS has put it, these procurements had...
Me, I'm asking you. I don't want what the CS say. I'm saying you as procurement. Do you have the 3 quotations that you can lay here as evidence that actually they are higher, and that's the reason as to why we opted to go to Tundum?
We based it on the MPI because these procurements are done entirely by the cooperatives themselves.
No, sir. You are the procurement officer, isn't it?
Yes, Chair.
You are the procurement officer, and you know the procedures. You can switch off your mic. You know the procedures. When you come, when auditors come, you must convince the auditors documentally that I have these. And looking at the money that we appropriated to this is 40,000, and I have these that are more than that. And because of that, we opted to go across. And we got this at this price. So I was saying, what did you do around that issue to arrive at the decision to go to Tanzania?
Thank you, Chair. As CS has put it, these funds were deposited in the account of the cooperative. And usually what happens is when these procurements are undertaken, of course we do sensitize, and procurement is part of that. But during the actual procurement, this is done by the cooperative itself. So we just came to know about it when the procurement was
You have just
done.
informed the committee that you knew the price, they are way beyond the 40,000. So why did you pay them? When you knew they wanted the hammer mill and the money that was available for the hammer mill was way below that. Why did you allow that money to go?
Maybe Chair, I can chip in. Chair, the CDF...
just to help him. Using the same 40,000, later on they say they procured. How do they monitor after? Is it after the auditors have visited or before?
Council Secretary,
Thank you, Chair. Our problems were multifaceted. The first thing we said is that we had not yet received our monitoring vehicle, which greatly increased our problems. And secondly, of course, we acknowledge, Chair, the auditors identified this as a query, and we went on the ground and established. Chair, the comfort is that the hammer mill was actually procured, it is functioning, and that is the evidence we have brought. But then, just to reiterate once again, we again take counsel, Chair, that going forward we shall ensure that prior to disbursements, over and above the other innovations we put in, we will ensure that there is compliance with
Just to correct you there, the role of this committee and the auditors is not to procure, it's not to have something, it's the procedure that we follow. So us, we get worried with the procedure. If we say get this particular thing from there, but you go and get it, whether you have it or not, we are worried of the procedure because we want people, there are financial regulations, there are guidelines that are coming with any fund that comes from the government. So we want to see if we are within the confines of those guidelines. Honorable, I'll give you a chance, Honorable Simumba, after you.
Chair, thank you. CS, you've stated here that the prices at that time were high. What we are simply asking from your management is the justification to say the prices were high. You are truly aware that, number one, in terms of contracts, they should be within the district, within the province, and later on within what? The country. That's when you can now externalize. Do you have the evidence other than the oral submission to say at that particular time there was no hammer in Zambia that will cost 40,000 and below? Do you have that evidence?
Chair, we still wish to submit that.
Do you have that evidence to support your statement?
Chair, I may, with your indulgence, seek that we perhaps at a later stage produce the MPI that was issued at the time of the audit, and then we'll be able to make reference to it, Chair. I submit.
Honorable Simumba, Honorable Nyambosa.
Chair, I think, thank you very much. I note, Chair, that I think I didn't introduce myself. I'm Honorable Simumba Lucas, Member of Parliament for Nakonde. Chair, I note that
yes, give us
from
please go ahead, Honorable Simumba.
Chair, I note that the management were not monitoring these projects. That's why you have got failure to recover funds. That's why, Chair, there was even where they were supposed to grow rice, there is soybeans and so forth. Now, I note on page 8 where the administrative cost, Chair, they have utilized very well. And one of the reasons which they were giving, they are saying they didn't have a monitoring vehicle. And the administrative cost, Chair, when you look at it, out of 1.2, they have used it up to remaining only 19,000. I wanted to find out, they didn't have a vehicle. How were you utilizing this administrative cost? Since the monitoring was not there, you didn't have a vehicle and so forth. How did you use this administrative cost to the fire to reach 19,000 from 1.2? Chair, submit.
Thank you very much, Chair, and Honorable Simumba for that question. Yes, indeed, the administrative component is there. Chair, I wish to state that the administrative component or the administrative cost has got various components. It is not just monitoring, it also involves meetings. And Chair, our district is quite unique in the sense that, for example, if I give the example of skills, we have students that come from as far as Mufulira, we have students in Kabwe, we have students even in Lusaka, because that's where they apply. So in monitoring, these institutions have to be followed so that we can be sure that indeed the students that we are sponsoring are actually at school. And we are saying this, Chair, because we do not want to have the issue of paying for students who are not in the school. So the administrative component has got those other elements. But then I want to call upon my treasurer to just maybe add context to the figure that has been raised.
A short one. Where you were using public transport, buses, to go and monitor in Furira, Osaka, you didn't have a vehicle. Thank you.
What were you using?
Thank you, Chair. Once again, would say this is a fiduciary function that my office has to perform, and we have to find means and ways. Again, Chair, in answering that, I have to state that there are also, we're happy we're concentrating on the clubs here, but we do have community projects that are civil works, and these are quite involving in terms of monitoring. So we have to find a balance in utilization of the meager resource that we have, Chair.
Chair, with your guidance.
We had to.
Yes. The question was very simple. You have throughout lamented to say, your mic, that you didn't have monitoring vehicle as a reason. Now, You have given examples of students scattered all over the country or maybe spread all over the country. Now, what were you using? Straight to the point. Were you using public transport? Because you have been very firm to the point that we had challenges of monitoring, Chair. Were you using public transport, or what means were you using? Just answer it to the point.
Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. DPO, just quickly give context on the mode that we're using to monitor the other.
Switch off your mic, Council Secretary. Yes, DPO.
Thank you, Chair. For projects like skills that are not within Chitambo, we're actually using a public transport, Chair.
Chair, allow me to ask a critical one, Chair. It's different from this one. Chair,
Okay.
if you allow me on page 9.
Yes.
Chair, page 9, Chair, I don't know if my colleagues have picked that one.
Just go ahead.
It is completed but not handed over projects. I will beg to be corrected if this has been done. Chair, there are tables there. The first table is community projects and status report, completed and handed over. I'm not going to dwell on that one. I want to look at the ones which are completed but not handed over. Particularly, Chair, number 4 project. Construction of Misumba Health Post by in Imperembe Ward. 200,000 kwacha was the amounts approved. The contract, that amount was 305. Now, it is completed. Would you give evidence as to this approved amount and the contract amount, the difference? What authority did you seek to vary this particular contract? Chair, the other one is number 1, construction of Kaoma Health Post. It was approved. I hope this approved means that the ministry approved 450,000, and what they spent was 447. The other one is number 3, construction of Shadrach Health Post. If you see the differences, the other one is number 7, completion of Mitondo Health Post, 100,000 kwacha. What the contract amount was 100,000 kwacha. I want to learn what is it that you mean by approved and contract price. And you contracted at 100,000 and you paid everything. I wanted to be referred to the certificates, and if this project, it was 2023, is within the defects liability period, if you have cleared that, and that is you have paid in full. Those are my concerns, but particularly to number 4, which had a variation by increasing it from 200,000 to 305. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Council Secretary.
Chair, I thank you, and I thank Honorable Nyambose for that very well thought out question. Before I call upon the Director of Works to add context to the answer, I'll just briefly mention on the whole, Chair, that at this point perhaps we should even mention that the approved amount, when we look at the forms through which the wards apply, there's a provision for the approximate cost of the project. And when you look at all these amounts, they seem to be in whole numbers. But contracts, because they go through a BOQ, it will have some point something and so on and so forth. So these are the projects on the whole, the ward seats. Okay, I think this one would cost so much. That is what we should have done, Chair, I have to admit here, is maybe we should have said the submitted amount by the ward. But now the contract amount is the one that has got a combination of the submission of the bid and what is actually approved and included in the contract that is signed as approved by the Office of the AG. Chair, allow me to call upon the Director of Works the Director of Engineering now to add some more.
Okay, before Director...
Chair,
yes.
I need to be corrected by the CS. Which comes first between approved amount and the contract amount? So that maybe we learn from Chitambo. because you are saying that 200 was just approved and then the other amount was a contract amount. So I want to know which comes first, and where do you base the contract on? Do you base on the approved amount, or the very contract comes with its own approved amount?
Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable Smumba, once again for that follow-up question. So, Chair, the CDFC would sit and approve projects after receiving submissions from the wards, which projects with the minutes will be submitted to the province for final approval. When we get the final approval, then we'll start the procurement process now. It is in the procurement process now that we are going to receive bills of quantities and the quantification of the project as it is in total. So, to answer the question, we do get these figures, the guesstimations from the wards at the time we're sitting at the CDC. Then the engineering element, the actual cost comes in at the time of the approval or the procurement process that will eventually will be a figure that will be in the contract. But I really needed, Chair, to allow my Director of Works to say something.
No, you respond. Honorable
Chair. Oh, sorry. Chair. Now, I wanted to find out from the CS who approved the difference in this matter, in this project, since the approved amount was 200 and the contract sum was 305. So who approved the difference in the contract sum? Is it again the CDFC, or is it just the council that approved the difference? Chair, submit.
Thank you. Director of Works.
Thank you, Chair. So I'll explain. I think the question was on number 4, construction of Misumba Health Post. So, Chair, I wish to mention that, in fact, this project, Misumba Health Post, was a 2021 project. So, but then I think the allocated funds at that time were not enough. So the 200 that you're looking at for 2022 was the additional fund. So this is what was actually approved by CDFC committee and was sent to the province. So the 200 is the additional fund. So, but then afterwards, after undergoing the procurement processes, the contract amount was 305,000.
Yes, Honorable Nyambosa.
Chair, I just want to beg that as we are learning, take us through properly. I'll give you an example. These were full contracts, yes or no?
Yes, they're full contracts.
Chair, these were full contracts. I want you to go to the upper page. I mean, you schedule. I'll give you an example. The number 1, construction of standard bridge at Nshimba. If this, the 400 which was approved by the WDC or the CDF committee was 400, and you are telling us that this 400 on the contract sum is a bid sum, how did this contractor know about the 400 which was approved? I'll give you a good example of number 11 on the top schedule. You allocated 30,000 kwacha. You are saying that this approved amount is an allocation of 30,000 kwacha for this particular project, and the bid sum is more than 30,000 kwacha. How would you explain? Where did you get the extra funds to top up when you knew that this contractor, you're giving a full contract, this cell phone is 300 kwacha. Then someone comes, you give a contract, you sign a contract at 305. There must be evidence from the WDC, I mean from the CDF committee, and the approval from the ministry to allow you to top up. How did you allow a bid that is more than the amount that was approved? Because these monies were set aside. So you are not helping this committee, my dear, for what you are submitting, that this is the case. So if the amounts allocated, whether this is coming from 2021, was 200,000 kwacha for number 4. This was the top up. This person bidded for 305.
How do you explain this? Do you just allocate, or you have to get the necessary what? And there's this motivation. When you see there is a problem, you say, this is from 2021. You take us. We are evidence-based. Look at Appendix So. This was the area cost for this project. This 200 is a top-up under minute number so by the CDF committee. Not just by word of mouth. Where do you take us?
We are winding up. We are way beyond time. Honorable Shagafuso, take note of the questions.
Chair, in winding up on page 7, I just wanted to find out in that table that we've been given, I note that we have some balances on contingents for disaster. We have, I know that the money was received in full, so I've done the correct calculation of the money which is remaining on disaster. It's supposed to be 538. Then on loans, you have 545 remaining. And on page 8, under bursaries, you have 397 remaining, about 1.4. Did we apply this money elsewhere, or is still in the account?
Take note of that question. Honorable Mwanza, one question. Honorable Kamondo, one question.
I refer to page 10. The 2 culverts at Funsa Fellow. This water crossing point was allocated, I think, 2 culverts. And then at project implementation, you changed the site. The site relocated to Funda. The assessment is done and a bigger structure is required with additional funds of 100,000 kwacha. What necessitated the change on the site? And where is the authority to seek authority from the CDF committee? Consequently, the PLGO for approval of change of site project as well as additional funding. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Kamondo.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Mine, I just wanted to have a clarification. Earlier on, we talked about the administrative costs, that we are seeing actually the administrative cost finishing at a very fast rate. And it is a concern to this actually committee. So I want to take you, we have a balance of 19,065. Maybe we can go to page 48. I just want a confirmation from the council. And one of the reasons that was given is that administrative cost is not just monitoring the projects, but there are also other activities that are taking that money. Could it be this one of the reasons why this administrative cost has gone down? On page 48, when you count there, we have item number 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me say the 5th item, if you are there, Honorable Chairperson.
Yes.
But I'm on the 6th item, dated the 20th September 2022. DSA plus fuel for the meeting in Livingston, which costed them 45,646.92.
What is that page? It's on page what?
48. 48.
48. The meeting was what? On what?
The meeting was in Livingston.
Yes, who was the pay? Derek Chongo?
It was Atlas Mala. Then on the following day, an amount was paid to Kembe CDF contribution for the meeting in Livingston, 3,380. And then on the same day, an amount was paid to Livingston Council which was 1,800. And on the same day, DSA plus fuel for meeting in Livingstone, 11,000 kwacha. When you total them, it is coming to 51,926 for that trip to Livingstone. But now, I just wanted to have, could it be the reason why this administrative cost is moving at a faster rate? And also, how did Kembe come in? Maybe if they can explain. Kembe CDF, how did it come in so that it could also be paid from the administrative cost from even Livingstone? Thank you.
You're saying how much is the total?
The total is coming to 51,926 on this Livingstone trip.
Oh, because there is 11,000.
More than that? There is 11,000. Maybe
45. When you add that one?
Yes. It is more than that.
More than 60.
Yes, it is more than 60 actually. I just added a few. Sorry. Maybe we can do other. But my point is that, is this the reason why the administrative cost is moving so fast because of such expenditure? And if that is the case, are these type of expenditures necessary? And why is it that Kembe is also appearing here? What did they pay for?
Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. Let me call upon the Treasurer to help me answer that question. City.
Thank you, Chair. The amount paid to Kembe was a contribution, and I would, though I don't have the exact reason as to why, but this amount was paid for, because there are times when you are told actually to contribute, and then the contribution would go in one of the accounts. So this one, I presume it went into Kembe account for the purpose of accounting for those contributions.
Where do you get that instruction from?
There are times when
I'm saying, yes, there are times we hear you. Now, who issues that instruction to say, no, you deposit this money this side, this side? Where does it come from?
And through the Chair, unless I get the exact details. So the...
Yes, I want also to give us an update. Why do we have fuel? There is a fuel in the same Livingstone again. There is another fuel of 11,000. Atlas Mala.
Where is that?
We have seen that Atlas Mala. On the 20th. Yes, there is DSA plus fuel for the meeting in Livingstone, 45,000. Again, 21st, DSA plus fuel for the meeting in Livingstone on 21st.
Yes, okay, I've seen it.
Yes, so we would want to know where are they going when they are already in Livingstone? And again, in DSA plus fuel for a meeting in Livingstone.
11,000. What was it for? Yes, Treasurer.
Through the Chair, the one for Kembe, it also involved the provincial local government. So for their logistics, they had to go in one account. So they went to Kembe CDF. So for the ones for Livingstone, it was also a contribution for the other logistics.
For who?
because the meeting was in Livingstone. This meeting was on the guidelines.
No, you know what, Treasurer, we want you, I want you to relax. Just relax. We want to know, yes, it was logistics. We have the first one, the 45,000, which is logistics as well. There are those things. So specifically when you are already in Livingstone, 11,000, what was it for? What sort of logistics, maybe I should ask? Because there is already an invoice for 45 for everything, all the logistics and this. So that one in Livingstone again, what was it?
Through the chair.
Yes.
Let me maybe start from the 45.
The 45, these were DSAs for various officers that traveled to Livingstone.
No, that one is clear.
Yes, sir.
I will read to help you, Treasurer. Are you on the same 48? Page 48.
Which is the 45,000.
Just I will read so that we go together.
Yes, okay.
Switch off your mic so that on 20th September 2022, on a trip to Livingstone, you paid direct transfer at Rasmara. This payment is 45,646.92. Are you there, Treasurer? This amount is for DSA plus. Are you seeing the plus? So when you are giving answers, don't leave out fuel. DSA plus fuel for the Livingstone trip. Again, when you are already in Livingstone, on the 21st, you paid again 11,000 kwacha, DSA plus fuel for the same meeting in Livingstone. So when you are explaining, we are interested in the fuel and everything that goes. You wrote this on your own. So explain as it is. We need just to know. Then when you say contribution to KMBC, and she just casually says we say contribution to the PRGO, where is the instruction that on a particular day and how much is this 3,380? What is it you are paying the PRGO for Central Province, and where is the authority that can you pay? What was it for, as you write in your vouchers? Then the other one, contribution for a meeting in Livingstone. What was this? 1,800. We are contributing to who? So these are simple questions that you can easily answer them with short answers. I submit.
Chief Accountant, you seem to have been the one preparing and you know something. Can you explain? Please walk to the mic.
Thank you, Chair. The meeting being referred to
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. The meeting being referred to here is on the CDF guidelines, which was called by the President. There was a request, a request from the ministry to send specific officers. Then there was an observation that the council chairperson was not included on the list. So the 45,000 was paid on the first list of officers who were requested to travel to Livingstone. Then the 11,000 was a payment to the council chairperson who was included later on. Thank you, Chair.
That was yes. Go ahead.
The contribution to Kembe CDF. The contribution for Kembe CDF, this was a contribution for the provincial local government officer. So there were some officers and we had to share. There was an amount that was calculated and we needed to share as councils. So this was a contribution and there was a guidance that we needed to pay through the Kembe CDF, which is in Livingstone. I submit.
Thank you, Honorable. Just, I know that we are behind time, but I just wanted to have some clarity. The Chief Accountant, just now, he has submitted that this amount of money is because of the meeting that was called by the President. Now, if I take you on the same page, the first, and then that's why I left it out, because it was done on a different month. There was a 28,828 kwacha 52 ngwe, which was paid earlier on for the meeting, and let me just read, to enable the CCP and officers to travel to Lusaka for a meeting with the President. So which one are we going to take now? Because if you add this one, it also, sorry, I think, can you just try to clarify? Because if you are going to confuse yourself by bringing this 28,000, then the amount will still increase. And this amount of money was paid earlier in August, and not the one we are talking about in September.
Chair, if you can indulge me just to maybe mention the two meetings. The meeting being referred to in Lusaka was at Mulungushi International Conference Center, and this is a meeting that was called by the head of state where the various stakeholders, my office, the chairperson, the DC, and others attended. Then there was now the launch of the CDF guidelines by the Ministry of Local Government in Livingstone. So those are the maybe two.
I'm fully aware that Livingstone, it wasn't the president calling for that meeting.
It was the Ministry of Local Government.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, in February.
Thank you, sir. So we take note of the omission, we correct the situation.
Yes, but what is confusing? So when you are coming into Lusaka, you came with the chairperson on 28,000 when the president called for that meeting at Mulungushi. Right?
Yes, Chair.
And then when we went to Livingstone, the chair had to, you gave the chair 11,000 alone.
Yes, Chair.
Honorable members. Do you have the authority for changing the site, approval for adjustment of funds?
Thank you, Chair. Initially, I think...
no, I'm just asking, do you have the authority? I think that's the question, not the initially of the project. Do you have the authority that you are changing here? That's all. Whether from CDF committee or from the ministry to adjust the funds.
Yes, it had the blessing of the CDF committee.
You have the document. Do you have the document?
At the moment, no, Chair, but at the time of verification, I think those minutes can be availed.
Which verification? Because you don't come to verify.
The audit verification.
Council Secretary, can you switch off your mic, my director? Yes.
Help you.
Yeah?
As you guide them that the office of the Director of Works in terms of contract management is not okay, Chair. We have a very big problem in this office.
Okay. Council Secretary, we appreciate your appearance, but we want you to take note that from this committee, we feel you are so uncoordinated. You've got very, very uncoordinated responses. Chief Accountant, we are not convinced with your figures on the use of the administrative component. We are not convinced, and we hope to carry on when you come back. We want you, Council Secretary, to take charge of your station. Of course, you have explained, no, the monies are not only used for this, we also use that money for other activities under the administrative component. What we are after, this committee wants to see development going into Chitambo. Chitambo is one of the poorest constituencies. I've been to Chitambo, from Chitambo there, where the ZESCO is, going down like 100 kilometers, going where people are doing in the farms. We went together. You would see that how poor people are. And at that time we were checking on a clinic or something. So in terms of health facilities, in terms of schools, in terms of desks, these are the things that we want to see being done in Chitambo. And we want to make sure that all those, amenities are within the reach of our people in the rural part of our constituency. We want to make sure that development is taken there. But if we can, all of us, take a huge team or do whatever you're doing, and all these monies, almost 100,000 in 2 trips, then we will realize that what suffers is always development. Director of Works, we want you, not Director of Works, of course, the procurement officer. Please, can you give us documentary evidence in whatever you're doing? Here, this committee will not take whatever, no matter how good your explanation is, including that one coming from the chief accountant, no matter how good it is, if it's not backed by documentary evidence, we don't listen to that. Because if something is documented, then we know that it's on the ground, it's there. But if officers are very good, because officers, we know that councils across the country, they are craft, they are able to explain things like they are coming from heaven. You can even believe them. But you go on the ground, it's something else. You ask them, no, we are sorry, it was an oversight. That's what we have been experiencing in this committee. I've been sitting, I've been auditing local authorities. This is my 3rd year, and I've been across the country. So we know, basically. But look, the increase in CDF was that development should reach every corner of this nation, and the government is dependent on you as technocrats, the local authorities, that will deliver development. But if what we are getting from you are seemingly in brackets stories, we've told you of the first council that we said, the first born council in the whole country in the use of administrative component. The first born council, Petawoke. We asked them here, what were you using this money to go into the negative? They are on negative, from 1.5 negative. And the only reason they gave was that missing lunch. Sure. Somebody can consume 1.5. Just lunch, not even supper, missing lunch. We have mentioned Kaputa. Kaputa, somebody is going to Nsama, the two of them, 20,000. Somebody is taking notices of the meetings. The other one is going to Chongwe, distance, like somebody has gone to Rufunsa this side, the other one goes to Kafue. Same day they are paid 25 plus, 50,000. And you know that they just use those names, those junior boys, the people that are actually hammering that money in management. That's why in councils you find cartels. But CS Wambera Navaja is just friendly with this one. They can talk. Other officers, other councils here, we retain them because they would get the deputy director of works. The director of works remains there. But the deputy, because the deputy is the one that is working well with the council secretary. I've made recommendations that those cartels should be broken. If there are people that are working like that, one should be involved with the other one in Kazungura or somewhere in the Western Province or in Changom. Thank you very much for making appearance, and at this hour we will withdraw the immunity that was conferred on you, but we want you to go and work on your weaknesses and come and bring a report that is well coordinated, where we have very good responses and you're able to follow, and your people in Chitambo are able to follow, and they are assured that the public funds that have been entrusted in your hands are in very safe hands. You are free to leave and have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you, Chair. We take your counsel very seriously, and we can assure you, Chair, that your words have fallen on fertile ground, and we will definitely work on some of the issues you've observed. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
In our continued efforts to appreciate the operations of constituency offices and the role they play to members of parliament, The Speaker of the National Assembly of Zambia, the Right Honorable Madam Nelly Munti MP, and senior management staff undertook a trip to the Copperbelt province. This is in a continued countrywide tour of constituents' offices by presiding officers and senior management staff. The Speaker's first stop was in Ndola at Portia Hotel, where she was welcomed by Copperbelt Minister Honorable Elisha Matambo, MP. The Minister assured the Speaker of total support during her visit.
For the first time, I have the Speaker of the National Assembly who is a female. So I want to officially say on the soils of Copperbelt